assortments of shapes and forms. I am joined by my usual co-host, Trevor Whatevr.
Hello!
And Sredni Vashtar will be joining us a little bit later in the evening. Today we are going to just be playing a little bit of Persona 3 Portable, and then maybe some GeoGuessr to round out the night, just 1 or 2 rounds. Now, I had originally planned for this to be like a pretty casual, session where I just kind of like do some grinding in Tartarus. However, as we will see, I kind of accidentally wandered into a major plot development last night, so we'll see how things go. Let me turn this down just a touch. There we go.
Seems you've got a bit further into it now.
Yeah. And the thing that kills me is that I'm still only like a quarter of the way through the game.
Yeah.
It's so long.
The series like trades in making pretty lengthy narratives. It's
it's a long game.
Yeah.
Try killing everyone in the plot development. I, for one, in response to the other comment Altruizine made, I actually think that the plot, or the enemy design in Persona is one of the most interesting things about it. It's a bit more than the usual, you know.
I don't know if it's only in Shin Megami Tensei, the mainline series, or if it bled over to Persona as well, but I know that there is a monster that looks like a phallus.
Yeah, I don't know if he's in this one, but I know he's in Persona 5.
Yeah.
I forget what the name of it is, but I actually do know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Also, their Mothman is really weird.
Yeah, it's like a little hermit man.
Yeah.
Rancid Gravy. Yeah, there's an item called Rancid Gravy.
Rancid Gravy.
I don't even know what it does. I don't think I've ever had to use it. Let's see here.
SMT has a chemtrails monster. Nobody tell Peanut.
Does it have a chemtrails monster? I didn't know that. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Shin Megami Tensei. Featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
Yeah. Oh, right.
And there's the link. Let me take a look at this specifically so that we can get an idea.
Oh no.
Of what we're dealing with here. Well,
right.
It's got 3 heads and it's like made of metal and has like 2 big spiky wheel thingies going off the edges of it, and it looks like a big engine basically. So like, yeah.
Yep.
Chemtrails. Sick. Yeah. A jet engine, presumably.
Chemtrails. They're bad for you.
Funneling money off to ancient aliens.
Alrighty. Fire attacks. Yeah. I don't quite know how this is gonna work with, like, me trying to talk simultaneously while also taking in whatever plot nonsense might happen after we get out of this dungeon, but we'll figure something out.
Don't worry, Jane will be... Well, Sredni will be here shortly.
That's true.
Yeah. I'm just naturally not quite as, like, good at the whole constant speaking thing that he's, like, pioneered at this point, but I have mastered the art of coming in, like, at just the perfect moment with the the pithy short response. Like that's my role that I've come to fulfill within our little group, I guess.
That's your class.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also the one that sings sometimes. Although
Yes.
Sredni sings a decent amount too.
We all do, really. That's like a shared responsibility. Hello, Jen.
Hi. How you doing? The weird thing about SMT for Altruazine is that when they were growing up, they heard all this stuff about how Pokemon is satanic and about collecting and summoning demons, and then it actually existed in the form of Shin Megami Tensei, and it's older than Pokemon.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the reasons it never really came stateside for the longest time.
Yeah, probably.
I don't remember what the first SMT game to make it to the US was, but it wasn't for a long time.
I want to say it was Persona 2, and specifically the second game in the series, because there were 2 Persona 2 games.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did that. They did that thing that Pokemon does with the like it was like what? Well, like one of them was like a prequel to the other one or something. I don't.
Yeah. Like they weren't the exact same game the way that the Pokemon games are with different monsters or anything. No, it was like 2 separate games that just so happened to share the same like underlying narrative between the 2 or something. I don't know. Yeah. Who'd you welcome into your heart?
Who was that even? It was I'm kind of self-conscious about trying to pronounce these because if CC were here, she would scold me for pronouncing them poorly. But Take Mikazuchi.
Fair enough.
Nothing particularly incredible here. I will probably just register them and then get rid of them later on.
I am checking now to see if Persona 1 ever got a Western release for PS1. I don't think it did, but we'll check.
I know one of them got like a really hacked up, like quote unquote westernized release, but I don't remember which one that was. Like they tried to set it in America or pretend that it was set in America. They did the like jelly donuts thing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it did get a Western release for North America.
Huh.
It was about 2 months after the original version came out, but it was presumably the one that came
messed up.
Got messed up, yeah, because it says. Reception to the game was generally positive, with most praising its approach to the genre, while the navigation and localization were criticized. So yeah, definitely the one of the more egregious examples of localization not matching up with the game in this series' case.
Yeah, I think they pretty much go out of the way now to try to make them as faithful as possible. Down to the point of having the American voice actors use Japanese honorifics, which sounds ridiculous.
Oh god.
Oh
no.
In fact, even because I have the voices turned off right now because it's like it adds just another layer of noise basically if you're streaming. But the battle voices you cannot turn off, and one of those has Yukari, who is unfortunately not in my party right now, but she calls the one other character Senpai in one of the call-out things.
Oh yeah, I think the 4th one did that too. Well, that's not that bad. At least not by comparison to how bad it could be, I guess.
No, but it does sound funny.
It sounds funny, but I guess it's like meant to make it clear that it's still like these are still Japanese characters speaking Japanese, even though we are hearing it in mostly English.
Yeah, I was into Persona before it was cool.
Shin Megami Tensei if.
Oh yeah, if is the one that people call like Persona Zero because it's not part of the series technically, but it did like a lot of the stuff that the Persona
Yeah,
series later did.
yeah. Gosh. I was mentioning to a couple of my friends earlier tonight that P4, or at least P4G, was probably the first time since Earthbound that I'd had like a really great experience with a JRPG, because I don't play the genre terribly often.
Yeah, I mean this game right here is probably the first JRPG I've enjoyed since Pokemon X. Like,
Wow.
I don't play
Yeah,
very many of them, and the ones that I do try out, I tend not to like. So,
yeah,
you know, part of it is kind of, this sounds weird because we're still talking about playing a game, but part of it is kind of like regulating yourself so you don't get burned out on it. Because it's really
yeah,
easy, at least for me, it's really easy to be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to grind for 8 hours straight, and you can't really do that. You gotta like pace yourself.
yeah. You know, it's funny. Even though we're talking completely different like genres here, save for the RPG elements of it, I've run into that recently with Destiny, because the content is built in such a way where the second game, it's not like inherently as focused on the constant grind the way that the first game was,
Yeah.
which, you know, is like it's cool for when you're doing this type of gameplay where you only have a couple of sessions maybe per week. But
Yeah.
like if you're looking for the type of thing where you want to just spend like, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours just going at it, you know, it loses its it loses its luster after a while, because you're like finding yourself out of things to do after a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's, this one it's mostly just like, even though the game is good and a lot more engaging than many JRPGs I've played, hmm, um, it's easy for it to get repetitive if you know, are in Tartarus for like 5 hours.
yeah,
And especially like, I like the battle theme, but hearing it about 1,000 times, you know.
yeah,
Also, I'm like not paying attention to what I'm doing, and I'm using stuff that he's like immune to, and yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, yeah. Try to do this again. These enemies own its poke tower. Presumably talking about the dogmatic tower thing that we were fighting a bit earlier.
oh yeah, yeah.
Let's see here.
Double fangs.
Yes. Not just one fang, but two.
Insert Lady Gaga teeth reference here.
I don't know if you can have something have one more status effect, or more than one status effect on it at the same time,
Uh-huh.
but I'm certainly not going to stop trying. If you could just die, that would be awesome. There we go. Only took 3 tries. I will say I'm decent at doing the shuffle time minigames.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I don't know at what point we hit the next barrier, and I also don't remember how long I've been in the tower, so I should probably actually, like, get out of here soon. Go do some of the visual novel segments.
Yeah.
Maybe get hit with some, like, sick revelations about the story.
Critical.
Yes. Probably take that out of the book first, since I believe those things have an insta-kill spell.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
The Dark Hour.
Yes.
It's a spoop. A spoopy boy.
Yep.
Player advantage.
Slap him with my lightsaber that I got as a side quest reward.
It's 4 spoopy boys.
Yes. Which I will murder with my small Chinese fire fairy.
Hey.
Whoa! Are you kidding me?
Oh gosh.
It loaded.
Did you?
Yeah.
The old save state. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the game crash?
No, I think what happened was I moved my leg and it bumped the... I have the save and load state buttons assigned to the sticks. Like clicking the sticks, and I think it smacked the stick click against the table.
Ah. That sucks.
Yeah, well, that's a bunch of grinding that we're never getting back. That's pretty disappointing. Well,
at least it doesn't seem to be too far behind.
yeah, it's just the idea that this is like exactly where we were when I started the stream.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. We're just gonna head for the nearest elevator then. I don't feel like doing all that all over again. What I should have been doing is what I'm doing now, which is like save stating compulsively. But
Yeah. Well,
these things happen. Let's go.
yeah.
Yabasha 74. Ooh. That one is... Whoa, what the heck? Seriously?
He got into a fight.
I don't know why it let him do that by himself. He wasn't far away. It's strange.
Well,
At least I know how to kill these things now.
yeah. And they are down for the count. I was looking through the Tumblr tag for the snail movie Turbo, the TV show of it, and somebody made a version of that comic that goes, it's the thought that counts and it's the count that thoughts. But they use the bug that from the show that's like supposed to look like a vampire or whatever, and like it was mildly amusing.
Mildly amusing is the name of the game.
Yeah.
I switched to the wrong one. Oh wait, no I didn't. Never mind.
It's the thought that counts, and it's the count that thoughts.
Do you ever
I love how
just...
the cloud looks like.
What?
I love how the cloud looks like a skull. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah, the like group attack thing.
Yeah. But yeah, you were saying?
I don't remember.
Oh,
Couldn't have been that important, or I would have remembered.
fair enough.
Oh yeah, these things. I hate these.
They look like the actual like generic thing that you hit in the dungeons.
Yeah.
But with little mask thingies.
Yeah, they're weak to a kind of physical attack, which is not the norm in the game. At least it isn't so far, and it's kind of irritating to deal with.
Hmm.
But
Makes
we got them.
Makes it so that just plain hitting them is more effective than using a persona to do it.
Yeah, or if you have like physical attacks on the persona, you can use that. But I don't have anything that does multi hits with piercing damage, so it
Gotcha.
kind of a pain in that respect.
Lion order.
I have a lion too.
Leon. It's like on a giant wheel thing.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with these guys. They're pretty cool though.
Things that are unusual. Do you think it's a meta commentary about circuses?
Maybe.
Perhaps. Thinking emoji.
Rumination espresso.
The cup that thinks. He's been waiting for it.
Mm-hmm. Cuphead 2 or Riot. I want them to get the second one out of the way so they can make the third one and call it Cuphead, but then have the E and head be the number 3.
Be a 3, yeah. Those are the best kinds.
Yes. Is like anything ever done that other than Left 4 Dead?
Let's see. Too Fast, Too Furious.
That's one, yeah.
And then, let's see. Taken 2, and then Taken 3. Taken 3 makes it so that it's Take 3N.
Yeah.
Driver 3 does it. Drive 3R. Shit. Do I know any more examples off the top of my head? I don't know.
It's not as common as it should be, I tell you what.
Either way, Too Fast, Too Furious is iconic to the point where some people continue to call the series that, even going up to as far as like 9 Fast, 9 Furious.
How many of those are there now? There's like 12, right?
Yeah, no, there's 9.
There's 9. That's too many.
Yeah, with a 10th on the way.
It's too many.
It does make you wonder why they didn't like take the advantage to just make the 8th, well, the 7th one the natural end of the series. But
I've actually never seen any of them.
Hollywood, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys. Bad boys.
Bad boys.
Oh, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Wasn't that the theme song to the Cops TV show?
Yeah. Which is what probably the only reason anybody is familiar with that song after, I don't know, 1997.
Whenever it became whenever it was like actually a pop hit.
Yeah. It's so weird that Cops was like a thing that was like a huge like deal at some point.
Yeah, and it was like everybody watched Cops. Like, I watched Cops when I was like 7 with my grandma. It's not appropriate television for a kid, but it just was a thing that everybody did. I don't really get it.
Was Maury like that too for you at all?
No, but it probably was for some people.
I mean, it certainly was in my case, and then other shit like, I don't know, Jerry Springer.
Jerry Springer, yeah, my grandma would watch that with me.
Oh, God.
And my mom would always get mad at her.
Yeah, fuck cops. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely not like a good show. Like,
trash television indeed.
in fact, I think the reason that it was made was just like it was really cheap to buy the footage, and they didn't need to hire writers. I
Yeah,
think that was like the original impetus for it being made, and then it became a hit because people are terrible.
yeah.
Jin, I agree.
Ah.
Ah,
We almost harmonized for a second.
almost.
Gosh. My I think that I'm resigned to a fate of just sliding in pickle and peanut references whenever I can. Simply because like I don't know. I feel like probably for whatever reason that's gonna be like the one thing that I come back to like from at least one of the things that I come back to from my dumb my dumb college years of enjoying things post T&B.
Yeah, I don't know. I like plenty of dumb things. Don't worry about it.
My my interests fall into such weird little categories, you know, uh, like over time, I guess.
Oh,
Because
hey,
like,
leveled up.
hey, because like this period of my life was Rayman, and then it was T&B, and now it's like kinda PNP and kind of Scud, like a little of both.
At least you don't have to. You don't. At least you don't have to deal with like you know, the usual nonsense that comes with being in like a really large fandom.
Yeah, I. It's funny. I was talking to somebody on Tumblr because like they were they were mentioning how they liked this thing, but the fandom of it was like super annoying or whatever. And I was like, the solution is getting into things that don't have fandoms at all. Really makes you think.
Makes you do a rumination.
Illumination.
Yes. What do we got here? Huh. I would like to make one of these. But which one would be better? Probably this one because of the auto. What's it? Yeah, that'll work. I don't use Sarasvati anyway.
Hmm. So this is PPSSPP to answer the question of what emulator we're using.
Yeah, yeah. Can you give me $5? Yeah, Jen, if you want to do that, you can subscribe, and that will give me $5 eventually. Obviously,
Yeah,
you don't have to, though.
it's not instant, but you know it'll happen eventually.
Yep. I did want to set up like a direct donation thing at some point, but that's a hassle, and Twitch has never, to my knowledge, really answered the question of whether or not they want you doing that if you're
I mean,
an affiliate.
it's kind of like yeah, it seems like it's always been a bit of a gray area
Yeah.
for creators like that. Although I've heard pretty good things about coffee, where you can just set it up and it'll be
Oh,
there.
yeah, like ko.fi,
Yeah.
which is a good website but has a confusing name.
Yeah.
What in the world was that?
Might have been a motorcycle passing down Limestone, the street I live on.
Maybe. It was like a weird
Perhaps.
low rumbling noise, so that would kind of fit
Yeah.
the bill.
Yeah, that was probably it.
Alright, let's do a soft save.
I don't have any foam to drown out noise things.
It's okay.
Hi, Patrick. I I remember us talking about Persona. That was only about an hour ago.
Hello. When you subscribe, Twitch takes 2 of the 4.99. It's like 120 or something. But yeah, I know. If you'd rather do a direct donation, I can like work something out with you after the stream. But yeah, I really need to set up something. I understand your concerns, certainly.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's July 19th, 2009.
Yeah.
Which actually, now that I think about it, that sounds pretty close to when I started TraceSpeak on Tumblr. I don't know if it's the exact day, but it's pretty close.
Meanwhile, in Japan, is Shinji okay? Yes? We'll say yes. Daytime. Alrighty. What should I do? Actually, let's look at the calendar quick. Yeah, that's all tomorrow. That's like this week. And then, like, actual summer break is later, I think. Or maybe that's...
And then I'm pretty sure that the vacation's
okay.
like a week or two long, and then after that you just go back to school.
Yeah, well, that's how it is in Japan. They do like staggered instead of like one big summer vacation, they have like one in summer and then one in winter and then smaller ones in spring and fall, I think.
Yeah.
They do like a year-round schedule. I think actually now that I'm looking at it, like you do ending ceremony and then this is vacation, and then where's opening ceremony? Yeah. So you have like...
Oh wow,
that's
longer than I thought it was. Yeah.
What is this?
About
August off, and then you go back to school. Have you played P4 at all yet? No, I don't have any consoles that Persona 4 is for, and my computer is not powerful enough to run a PlayStation 2 emulator. Which I think there was like a... Like, they did like a cut-down version for PS2, I think.
Yeah, the original is on PS2, and then the expanded version, P4G, is on Vita.
Okay. Speaking of which, before playing this game, I had no idea that the PlayStation Portable had a thumbstick. Like a kind of a crummy one, but like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little nummy. It's a little nub thingy.
Yeah.
The Vita made them significantly better with having two, and they were actual analog sticks as opposed to just the little, the poor little excuse that they had of one on the PSP, but still.
Yeah. I didn't, because I've never really even like seen a PlayStation Portable before, so I had no idea.
Wow. Gosh. I think that by the time I ended up getting my Vita, we'd owned 3 PSPs. Wow. My dad had one, and then we replaced it with the second generation model of it for whatever reason. I can't remember the exacts. And then my best friend, he had one that he'd hacked to have like a custom firmware on it that let you put your own games onto it. So he just gave that to me because like he didn't want it after a while. He was like, "Yeah, I'm done." So yeah,
I did that. Why am I trying to go to the high school? The mall. That's where I meant to go. I think the original was better. Golden is great, but Marie didn't leave a strong impression on me. Marie's the girl with the hat, right?
Yeah.
She's got blue hair. She's like...
Oh, that's Naoto. Or at least who I think you're thinking of with the blue hat and the, like, police outfit, right?
No, she,
Or let's see. Naoto was the like detective in the 4th game, and then Marie, I think she had like black hair and like a white shirt and then a skirt.
Well, I think she had like a hat that was kind of like sticking, that like kind of sticks up at a weird angle. It's like not on her head all the way.
Yeah, maybe we're both right. Honestly.
Marie wasn't in the original. She's a Velvet Room attendant. Yeah, I think that's who I'm thinking of. I only know that because I read like part of a P4 Let's Play earlier this week. It's gonna be kind of weird because I'm probably going to end up skipping from this game right to 5. I'm going to get it for my birthday, which is next month.
Cool.
It's become like a yearly tradition now of me buying a AAA game that came out in the previous year for my birthday. Why did I come in here? I have nothing to do in here. I guess we'll just chill out at the cafe. I don't know.
And yes, we are totally both right. She has a white skirt and a blue hat that's like got like a little golden thing on it, and then a red skirt. And long black and white leggings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fashionista.
That's in your bag.
Oh, there's
Icon.
Oh. She's right there. You could just ask her.
Well,
JRPGs.
we technical limitations.
Yeah.
Ahoy. Wynn mentioned that they had a Darth Vader themed PSP on a previous stream, which is super cool.
I want a
Yeah,
Darth Vader PSP.
My dad's second one was silver. I think that the other two were just black.
I have to imagine that like the novelty ones are like a huge collector's item right by now.
I don't know, maybe.
Because stuff like that.
The PSP wasn't a particularly like huge system, but they made a bunch of them. So I don't know how much they're worth these days. Either way, the ones with custom firmware on them are definitely sought after though, because you can Sony in addition to not really finding much of a way to compete with Nintendo in the whole portable market, they really kind of dropped the ball with the whole piracy side of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, the PSP became relatively well known for its ability to emulate other systems, A, and B, to be able to just put whatever game you wanted on it. It was also huge in Japan.
But the atmosphere is still heavy. Asking people things
in Japan is actually illegal and punishable by banishment to Osaka. Hi, Seth.
Not Osaka.
God. Is this a beach episode?
Yeah, I think so. Or something
Nice.
vaguely similar, at least. This is what I meant when I said, like, yesterday I managed to accidentally stumble into a major plot development.
Hey. It's like we're in an episode of Lifestyles in the Rich and Famous.
No,
Robin Leach will get jealous,
No,
half
no.
a million pounds of
It's-
stove. Taking trips from here to row. Said if you ain't got no money, take your broke ass home.
Indeed. But if you look, it's actually the Rich and Fabulous, because I didn't want to step on the trademark.
Either way, Robin Leach will get jealous.
Hopefully Operation Babe Hunt is still in the portable version. I don't know, I'm playing as the lady, so I don't know.
In Hawaii, every episode is a beach episode. True. Isn't that kind of basically what happened with Pokemon? Where the past 2 games have just been beach episodes of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel kind of cheated that the maids don't have sprites. Well, this guy does, though. This fucker with an eye patch.
A man walked in from the far door.
It's probably her dad, if I had to guess.
Leroy Jenkins.
Sredni, you scared
Incredible.
the ever-loving fuck out of me.
Leroy
Jenkins. Yep. Hi.
Hello. We're at the beach.
I was waiting. That shopping trip took way longer than expected.
Huh.
That was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy did immediately fuck off after introducing himself, which is pretty good. Well, no, he didn't even introduce himself. He walked in the door, we got to see his picture, and then he left. So that was pretty great. This is Sredni, our other co-host.
I
Hi.
have not played Persona Q. I would like to, though, eventually, if only because like it was on the 3DS, which was like the system that I didn't pick, even though I probably should have. I was that guy and decided to get a Vita.
Wasn't Gravity Rush for the Vita?
Yes, that game was great.
I always wanted to play
I didn't get to play too much of it because like I didn't have a memory card, so I couldn't install too many games before I ran out of space, so I had to uninstall it for something else. But it was really good. Cat is adorable, and so is her cat and her friend that she initially isn't friends with. It's oh god, it's so good.
Which game is this again?
Gravity Rush.
Okay. Cool.
It's the first one is for the PS Vita, and then the second one is on the PS4. I haven't played the second one yet, but I'd like to. Both, actually. Yeah. The studio behind this make this guy sprite just to show it once and never have him appear again. Incredible. You can tell even at this distance that Junpei is extremely excited.
Oh dear. Is he wearing like a Speedo or something?
This is this format is very visual novel-y.
Yeah, it's like... My understanding is that they kind of cut it down to, like I guess in the original game you could actually like kind of walk around and stuff, but they like kind of cut it down to a visual novel in order to make it fit on the PSP. And it's like half this and half JRPG. What if we're the main characters all along?
Yeah, and then P4 on the Vita is a bit closer to how the original presentation of P4 was, where like you actually see the 3D models and everything. Oh god.
Unfortunately, I've missed this as I was also typing something because, of course, I was at the crucial moment.
Missed what?
Crucial moment.
Trust me, nothing important is happening right now.
So they made a PS4 character, PS4 version of Gravity Rush 1. Indeed, they did. Although I again haven't gotten the chance to get that one just yet.
Wait a second, did I just miss awkward straight people flirting?
Yeah, you did. Sorry.
Alas.
That makes me wonder if I would find Junpei a more interesting character if he was gay. Anyway.
As far as characters that are, you should play P4 because kanji is great.
I'm just here for memes and waifus.
Yeah. Haven't found a waifu yet, so I mean, that works. Seth is from the radio station, by the way. He's a
hello.
friend of mine, and
Hello.
and we are both in charge of the electronic music play box there.
Neat.
Yeah, this
I'm eating
is.
a donut.
I am, for the record, for the people who are new to the stream, I am the titular Planet Jane. Hello. It's actually technically my show, but you probably can't tell because I'm reading all this stuff and thus not talking as much as I normally do. I radio sometimes and pretend to be self-confident on the internet.
Yeah.
That is a relatable sentiment.
That's exactly what I do, just pretty much all the time. As if someone is watching you.
Well, that was ominous.
Everybody's great at your Judith.
Okay, we don't have access to the usual sidebar.
Junpei was involved in awkward straight people flirting, but nonetheless he seems to have some weird tension with Akihiko.
A
little?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not gonna judge the guy. Well, I will, just not for that.
I know somebody ships that. I just know.
I would be more surprised if somebody didn't.
True.
As a game protagonist, the girl has no personality. I don't know. She has, like, the responses you can pick from, which are as personable as you can make, like, single words or single sentence phrases and such. The optimal place for relaxation. This is a nice little beach.
Yeah.
Who is our protagonist?
That's her in the corner.
The girl.
That's her in the spotlight, losing her religion.
Hold on. This lady.
I know. I
Okay.
see her.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
I understand.
Junpei-kun is eek. Why is he such a creep?
I don't know.
Whenever I see Fuka's name, I think of that that anime that like 3 people watched and everyone said it sucked.
Every day we stray further from God's light.
That doesn't narrow it down at all. What anime that 3 people watched?
It's called Fuka.
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah, it was like a few people were kind of hype about it because it like seemed like, oh, this is a show about people.
Oh, can we just
music
straight
in a
up
band.
go into the forest? I'm gonna go into the forest.
But yeah, it's like people were like, like
Can't go
it
into
might
the
be
forest.
about like being in a band like Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, which was really good. And it turns out within the first episode, there's like, like I think panty shot things happen in the first episode. Like the super stereotypical like accidental pervert scene thing happens, and all the character models are kind of generic, and all the dialogue is very generic, and the directing isn't very good. And then anybody who was watching it for, band antics was like, no.
So can I actually do anything here or what?
It's awkward beach socialization.
Yeah, but like they only have one line of dialogue each, and there's nothing else I can click on.
God.
Isn't the P4 protagonist the guy with the gray hair and no shirt? Yeah, Yu, I think is his name, right? Which is confusing.
Yeah, Yu Narukami.
But he's got like a gray bowl cut and glasses.
Or Soji. I think that's his other name, Soji.
I like Ren from P5 the best out of the male Persona protagonists that I'm familiar with. I guess we just have to go? Okay. I don't know.
We're glad that you're proud of your cod piece, Junpei.
Do I like apples? Yes, Jin, I do like apples.
He's close.
He looks like a
A pirate, yeah.
Well, no, I wasn't gonna say pirate. I was gonna say he looks like a character from Dark Shadows.
I don't think I know what
You're
that
not
is.
wrong.
Trey knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the old TV show. Wasn't it about vampires?
It was a soap opera that was about, like, vampires and other weird shit.
Yeah, there was a remake of it recently with Johnny Depp as the main character or whatever.
Oh, yeah, and everybody pretended it didn't happen very shortly after it happened.
Yeah, essentially. Your boy looks like a bad Phoenix Wright some week.
I mean a little, but, like, that is true of a large percentage of characters in Dark Shadows.
Yeah.
I do like that the important nouns are highlighted with what appears to be an icon of a book in green text.
It's because you can look them up in the wiki.
I don't think there is one, though. At least not in the game.
There's probably, like, some sort of... Is there not one in the book, like an encyclopedia or whatever, like a guide?
I don't think so. Maybe there is.
There are things in this world that cannot be accomplished alone, no matter how many sacrifices you make.
Sredni, there is far too much dialogue in this game for you to read it all.
But with this guy, you have to.
No.
You have accessed our database, didn't you? It's another thing. Why didn't you ask me directly instead of you?
I'm sorry.
Fuck you. Fuck you with a rusty chainsaw.
I actually need a game with wiki integration. I'm super on board. Crusader Kings 2 has integration with Wikipedia. That's not a joke. There's a little... If the character you have selected is like a historical figure, they got this little badge in the corner you can click on, and it will minimize the game and open the relevant Wikipedia page.
Neat.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's educational, Riff.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Does anybody else listen to the Pixies?
Loud, quiet, loud.
The only song I've heard is Wave of Mutilation, but that's a pretty good one.
It is a very good song, but they do have other songs.
They do.
Including UMass, which... it's educational.
On a wave of mutilation.
Wave of mutilation. Wave of mutilation.
Wave.
Yeah. That song has a really dark inspiration.
I
don't know if I want to know.
This has time travel. Apparently it has time travel. Yes, I didn't know that before just now either.
Oh dear. Only nihilism in his heart.
There is no escape. You have fallen deeply into the shadow realm.
That, this dark prison of passion from which there is no escape.
I took that girl to the shadow realm, because girls love shadow realms.
I feel like we simultaneously thought of, like you were thinking, on one hand, you were thinking Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah,
and I was
course.
thinking Papyrus's bit about, like, you have fallen madly in love with me.
Goodness.
Good old Undertale.
And, like, if you somehow combined the two, that would be a dangerous level of memeing unheard of in these parts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Papyrus is beautiful. I love him. He's my son.
The only Paradox game I play is Stellaris, and it would be weird if the characters in that had historical pages. That's true.
There's a pretty obvious reason for that. Sans with a purely pun-based deck. Incredible.
Excuse me.
Nice!
Sredni, you need to move away from the mic to breathe in.
Chocolate rain.
Yes,
Some
welcome
say
to
cry, but others feel the pain. Chocolate rain.
welcome to Shapes and
Oh,
Forms,
God.
where you can get your
Sam.
hottest references to internet videos from 2007.
Sans with
I
Yami Yugi's
started
hair.
my appearance here with a reference to an internet video from God knows when.
Yeah, probably around that same time, yeah. 2006,
Yeah.
2007.
Yeah,
The
it's
early
like
days of YouTube, when it
people
was
playing
pure.
World of Warcraft and
Oh, John, he just went in!
this dingus just logs on and throws himself in.
I don't like that video anymore after learning that
As
it was staged. And the guys who made it are apparently not very nice people.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Shadows something explosion.
So far we've hit keyboard, Chocolate Rain and Libor Jenkins. How long until we hit Keyboard Cat?
Do do
I don't
do
know.
do 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 do.
I mean, one of us has to say something really embarrassing and someone else has to say, Keyboard Cat, play us out.
Do you guys
Yeah,
in
we gotta-
chat hear that like 30-second long glass breaking noise? That was pretty great.
We gotta earn the Keyboard Cat reference. Like we
Oh.
gotta go through the Fire and the Flames videos of people just 100%ing the thing before we get there.
As we discuss Keyboard Cat, a major plot point is revealed and the music stops.
Okay.
So far away, we wait for the day. Charlie bit my finger. Charlie bit me.
That is a good old one.
Blood.
But not a great old one. Because a great old one would eat us all.
Ah, yes, I can't wait for Nyarlathotep to just devour me whole.
Hello, Gogo. Also,
Trey, I did not know you were into vor.
really? Again?
No!
This keeps happening.
It just keeps happening.
There was just like a freaking like major dramatic revelation, and Yukari ran off, and like all that stuff. And we're talking about being eaten by elder gods.
And being into that.
No!
I'm sorry
I'm impure!
to be smearing your name, Trey.
God.
I mean, I could really care less if that were the case, but nonetheless,
Oh, God.
I think Trey is having a crisis.
Y'all
A little
okay?
bit.
She has a long neck with a choker.
Sredni,
Damn.
do not make fun of Yukari.
God.
I'm not making fun of her. I'm just
You're
saying
making fun of Yukari, and I will not stand for it.
I have nothing against chokers or unusually long necks.
Twitch.television. Uh,
Seth says, hang on, it depends on the iteration of Nyarlathotep. If we're talking Hayori Nyaruko-san, then I'm down. Shaman
That's-
horns, no!
that's a thing I forgot existed.
That's some
See, y'all would be more familiar than me.
It's
okay.
like a comedy anime that's very loosely based on Lovecraft stuff.
Like I was
Lovecraftian
thinking for a second,
mythology.
like, yeah, yeah, that was a thing like half a decade ago
Yeah.
or so, like longer than that. It's from like
It was from, let's see, the light novels ran from 2009 to 2014, and then the anime was from initially 2010 to 2011,
I
and then
assumed
2013. Yeah.
Yeah, like because the first season was, if I'm not mistaken, it was pre-Madoka, I think.
Yeah.
Like generally, I like define certain anime for reasons I can't completely comprehend into like pre and post Madoka.
Win says, you know what they say about girls with long necks, and no, I don't. I really don't.
That they one day will indeed turn into a swan.
God.
Okay, so I checked out for like the past 5 minutes because I was reading all this. What are we talking about now?
So
I'm going to 7-Eleven if you want anything. Huh. Can I get a milkshake? Do they have milkshakes at 7-Eleven?
Probably, yeah.
I guess more like like an icy would be.
Yeah, like like one of those things, yeah.
This has certainly been a unique show so far. Who is Bukake? What?
Oh no.
No!
I'm concerned.
That's not a person. That's not a person.
God. Your boy could peer into another state with that. Okay, we can't make fun of Yukari's neck because Junpei's neck is absurdly long by comparison.
I mean, I was more like observing his like the fact that his chin.
Everyone
was
be
up.
quiet. We're going to see a large cryptomeria tree considered a World Heritage Site.
Okay.
Okay.
That's not a tree. That's a bunch of trees.
Maybe the tree that we're here to see will be visible in a moment.
Okay.
The air is so fresh and so clean.
The air is tasty here.
Junpei is at least 60% neck.
So he's basically a welcome to the ballroom character.
Oh my god.
Hold on a second. There's a scuff on my screen. There we go.
I just made a timely reference, and you steamrolled that with technical issues.
I'm trying to
Jane.
juggle reading and thinking about what you guys are saying, and also reading the chat, which is on a different screen at the same time.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Super Milk Can. No, we're not going to talk about that.
What is Super Milk Can again?
You don't want to know. Don't worry about it.
I do.
You don't.
Isn't it like a dumb comedy anime?
Yeah, it's bad.
That makes sense. God, now I remember
Oh,
the
fuck, are we about to meet Aegis? I want to meet Aegis. You'll see.
A robot! Excuse
I
you.
was
It's
just
Mega
saying,
Milk. This is a land of culture.
I just got reminded that Cuticle Detective Inaba exists.
Peanut and pickle.
I don't think of that show very often, but it exists.
Same.
It certainly does.
Which one is wife? What are we talking about? Oh,
Aegis.
Jin said, or Win said, yes, wife. Okay, sorry. I, again, trying to juggle like 4 different trains of thought at the same time.
Junpei and he does have a long, long neck. So does Akihiko.
I think that's just like part of the art style. Now that it's been pointed out, like everybody
yeah,
kind of has
like,
a long neck. Yukari's
again,
is just
it is clearly set in the same universe as Welcome to the Ballroom.
like Yukari's is just like thinner than everybody else's.
Yeah, that is
It's
maybe
kind of-
why it was more noticeable initially.
The
But
pickle
now
is
that it's
wife.
been pointed out.
To answer that, Jin, yes, Pickle is he's a sweet boy, and he is indeed the wife.
Trees jumped by his neck. That's not very nice.
Peanut,
with-
though, Peanut is
what-
just me.
What with his neck?
It's the tree.
The tree is Junpei's neck.
Junpei's neck is a World Heritage Site.
Oh my god.
And his scowl is
All
Junpei out
all
there
the
blending
characters
in with
only
the
have
romantic.
like all of the characters only have like 3 facial expressions, and it's interesting to see how they use them.
like which ones?
Like sort of a neutral face, and then a smile, and then angry, and then some of them have like a sad one, but I don't think all of them do.
No, I'll pass. Well, Junpei has a shocked one too.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I guess it's like
Yikes.
4 or 5, but still not very many.
Hagakure is the name of the samurai manual. It's like the book on Bushido. And apparently it's also the name of a restaurant.
They're really expecting me to read all this, huh?
You mentioning that makes me wonder what exactly the meaning of Muramasa was, because the producer Muramasa, I actually found his album at the radio station today in a pile of CDs that we were giving away because we had too many copies of them.
I think it's a last name.
There she is!
Who is she?
The girl!
Oh my.
Also, I found it. I'll wait until we...
Okay, she also has a long neck, but it is wearing a long, is that she's got like a collar thing going on?
Junpei dies at the end of Cars 2.
Oh, oh no. The backgrounds are not as well rendered as the character art.
Is it my end, or did RIP stream happen? I think,
No,
I think we're still up. Let me refresh the page.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
pretty okay from the looks of it. It might just be Seth.
Yeah, I turned it off and turned it back on again, and we're still here.
Try unplugging it, then plugging it in again. Also, yes, it was in the CD was in the free like ones that we've got at the station, and I just was like, okay, I know I have this album already, but I don't care. I want the official version of it. I don't know. We'll see. Why? You think there might be bears or something?
Why would it be more dangerous for a skinny? I question like the precise.
They're straight, Sredni. Don't overthink it.
No, I mean like why? Oh no, it's like no. I'm saying like why she would be in more danger. It's like I think there's some kind of translation nuance missing here.
Maybe, I don't know.
Like frail would have been a better word. I have found you. Oh yeah, we see the big tree here. It looks like one of the like bulges in it looks like a butt. And then another of its bulges looks like a knee. It's like a tree made of legs.
That's her preference.
Why is Junpei's neck in the background of this game?
That's his Adam's apple, then.
Oh God.
So is Mystery Robot Girl a lesbian?
I'm like 99% sure that you can in fact date her, regardless of your character's gender. So
That is fantastic. You should date the robot.
that was the plan, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not an idiot, Sredni.
I have found you, my future wife.
Is Flappy Bird based on a true story? Oh, Jen. Yes, it is. Also, this is like the worst, like, possible section of the game I could be streaming. You know, if we were just doing the dungeon crawling, that would be one thing, but
there's
this is like the largest block of story I've encountered so far.
So story, much word, and Aegis.
Aegis.
Prepping for
Aegis.
when the hyper-advanced sex dolls gain sapience, I see.
I too am a man of culture.
I mean,
My headphones fell. A mechanical maiden.
oh my god, Junpei already is like...
Thirst.
he
Not true.
desperately-
You streamed
Like,
the
Junpei
intro of
really
Roblox, yeah.
clearly wants to bang the robot. It's like excruciatingly obvious.
You ever just sleep and wake up the next day?
Well, you know, you gotta
Yes.
have that cyborg kitty, man.
Oh man. Oh lord.
Shut it all down.
She's not even a cyborg, she's a robot.
Yeah,
That's
like 100% mechanical. There is nothing organic in there.
Or I mean, or
Still.
well, strictly speaking, an android or gynoid, depending upon how you know, whether you choose to, gender the description of the robotic personage who has
Yes, but
people shaped.
Yes, but if I said anything else like that was more descriptive, you wouldn't get the Orange is the New Black reference.
The new what?
Orange is the New Black, because there's a bit where this like
I still haven't seen that, and I feel a hole inside of me.
where this slimy dude is talking about things.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Yukari
no.
just got like the gray ball of frustration when she was talking. I think she might be jealous.
Jealous
Jealousy.
jealous of who with respect to whom?
Sinking ships into the sea.
Yeah, sinking ships into the sea.
Yeah, I mean,
Wednesday.
wait a second. Did the guy explaining the robot just wink at Junpei in a vaguely suggestive way?
I think he was winking at like everybody, which is even weirder.
Alright then.
Oh. Jin, I also wish I were cute.
You're both adorable, knock it off. I'll stamp the word cute on your forehead.
Gosh.
You know, I am mostly pretty okay with my appearance, but I will never be able to rock a sundress.
Makes you do a rumination.
Indeed. Drinking that rumination espresso.
Is that a safe assumption to make?
I mean, to be fair, if she is made of metal, really, it's not the issue of her, like, you know, robotic. I'm reminded of that scene in the film of, Ghost in the Shell, with the whole thing where she has the backpack
Yeah.
that keeps her buoyant. Because she's actually too heavy
Buoyant.
to float.
Buoyancy.
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 But yeah,
Buoyancy.
like, but I mean, I think the problem would be more like that really elaborate clothing not being able to be, like, you'd have to, like, dry clean it.
Yeah.
And that would kind of suck. That would be really
Why are you wearing your suit to the beach?
Because he's just that kind of guy, Jane.
I don't
He's
want to
that
know.
dude.
I don't want to know anybody who's that kind of guy. T-shirt,
I
fine.
mean, I never said I did either. I'm just-
Swimsuit, fine. But you don't wear a fucking tan suit to the beach.
And then say that you can relax after that.
Yes.
Um,
Beach suit.
It's fundamentally wrong.
maybe that's what he swims in.
That's not what a swimsuit is.
I mean, but maybe he at a very young age misinterpreted it, and his parents never corrected him.
Oh my god.
Somebody remind me to call the VOD swimsuit.
Oh lord.
Attack, relent. All I can think of now is the various commands in Homestuck. Abscond!
Agreed.
This is a Homestuck free zone. Homestuck does not exist. Nothing exists. All is an illusion.
Ham steak.
What the fuck? Party
Take a
efforts
mortal blow.
that take a mortal blow for you in battle. Thanks, Gabe.
Which
That's-
I feel like
that's-
which I feel like Junpei would misinterpret what that means.
You spend some time with your friends at the beach. They will now die for you.
Like in that fucking terrible Bryan Adams song. You know,
Each
like,
episode's over,
I'm
kids. Get ready for the
done
Mortal
for-
Kombat style death battles. Indeed.
The punks at the hangout are whooping it up as usual.
Oh my
That's
god.
that's a sentence. That's a sentence that I just
Ugh. Gasp.
Dark
Gasp.
figures.
Ugh. Gasp.
Oh, hey, it's the gun Jesus. This guy.
Jesus.
Oh hey, aren't we in Steel Ball Run already? Is Steel Ball Run getting an anime now?
Oh, sacrifice Junpei. Always sacrifice Junpei. I'm not gonna sacrifice Junpei.
I mean, but then he can go become god tier.
The punks left the hangout. Girl in a dress.
Smart looking guy. He certainly has hair.
And
How does his
eyes.
hair cut?
Junpei died for our sins.
Junpei's neck died for your sins.
I appreciate his jacket.
He does have... He has the same jacket as the guy from Kill la Kill, except his is green instead of white. You notice-
Gamagori?
No, the nerdy guy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's, like, identical, aside from the color.
Yeah,
that's
and it
pretty-
has a much higher collar.
It's pretty spot on.
Also, it opens and closes the collar. But yeah, why is creepy Jesus here?
So there's, like, this entire running B plot that I assume is going to tie back into the main game eventually about these three people who I guess are, like, evil Persona users or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
You know, it's weird how often in like old schlock anime they use Shiro of Amakusa as a villain for some reason.
I don't know who that is, I don't think.
Shiro of Amakusa was a Christian rebel leader in Japan who was widely revered essentially as a living saint and was believed to, produce miracles and things. Although he didn't
And
necessarily
things.
encourage that kind of, sort of belief. But he was like 16 and he led in, this army of his followers that held a fortress under siege from the shogun. And all of them were killed.
Same, I guess. Same. I guess we're gonna stop, what's this all about? Huh. I guess that's
Yeah,
like a roundabout hint as to how to get the social link with her going. I guess we're gonna stop this here because I'm realizing that playing this while also trying to have a conversation and also read the chat is not...
Oh, yeah, I
Like,
can totally
super-
understand. This is a very story-heavy game.
Well, the thing is that, like, the bit that I was doing at the very start of the stream was just, like, doing, like, level grinding in Tartarus, which is not particularly story-heavy, but...
I mean, like, yeah, but at the same time, like, the parts, the meat of the game, not,
Yeah.
like, the whole of the game, but the meat of the game is in story interactions. And that can be good for a certain kind of stream, but what we're doing now, it's like, it doesn't quite, like, jive as well.
Yeah, we can run a little
Right,
long
right.
anyway.
Yeah, making jokes about Junpei's neck is beautiful.
Yeah, that
But-
was fun. So, we'll play Monolith for a little while, and then some GeoGuessr.
That sounds like an alright idea.
I'm basically good to go until I run out of Diet Pepsi, at which point I will shortly thereafter have a massive caffeine crash.
Jane, please don't die when you run out of Diet Pepsi.
I'm not going to die when I run out of Diet Pepsi.
Can you be sure of that, Jane?
Can you be sure of anything in this world that we live in?
Um, uh, don't ask me philosophical questions on stream.
Also, surprisingly lively chat tonight, which is nice to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's always good.
Let me unplug this, because I don't need a controller for Monolith. It does accept controller support, or controller input, but I actually find the game harder to play.
Don't ask me philosophical stream questions on stream. I'm too high for that shit.
I wish I were too high for that shit.
Why you always
if,
gotta hit me
if
when
anything, in Sredni's case, it would
I...
probably make him like probably even more ready to talk about about the nuances of Legati.
I mean, it is distinctly possible, yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw a photo of someone with fairly long toes using their toes to flip off the camera.
But why?
Because why not?
I'm back. What happened to P3P? We are done with P3P for the evening. Now we're playing this.
Now
It's
we are
called
playing
Monolith.
Monolith yet again, which is like... It feels kind of like, to me, like if you... Like, sort of like a fusion of Binding of Isaac and Toho.
I would use the, more like Nuclear Throne, but that's kind of splitting hairs.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with Nuclear Throne.
Basically the items you get in this are kind of less transformative, and the guns, obviously, they don't last forever, so you know.
Oh, that is a fair difference from BOL.
I would play Isaac, however, it basically runs terribly on this computer now, and I still haven't set up streaming stuff on my other laptop, because I'm lazy. Which Isaac actually runs terrifically on that, even though it is theoretically the less powerful of the two computers.
Huh.
But yeah,
Maybe
our new viewers especially, if you got anything you want to ask or whatever, go ahead.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I cannot read the chat because resolution. There's like blobs of color and white over there.
That's weird.
It's like there are word-shaped blobs. Like I can, for example, tell that like Win has posted something.
I guess.
But like if I look really closely.
As far as what Seth said about how he prefers Gungeon to Isaac, I think that I agree, but at the same time, I appreciate both for their differences and like their different takes on the same idea, kind of.
I think Gungeon is probably like the how would I put it? Like the game that is more rewarding to your skill. Like if you're good at Gungeon, you don't have much to worry about losing a run. But yeah. I think Isaac is kind of more fast and loose, and in some ways kind of hews closer more to the older roguelike style of random chance being a fairly big part of the gameplay, which I think I prefer, but I like both games. And in fact, the Gungeon was the very first game that we played on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also Gungeon's case, I'd argue that it's probably a bit more accessible too. But but Isaac has like the different synergies that you can come up with run a bit deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see the chat now.
That's good. Gungeon feels more fair to me, which is why I prefer it. Are you feeling like I couldn't change anything about my run? Yeah, I get you. Isaac, I know there are people who can, like, basically skill their way out of pretty much any bad run, but you have to be really fucking good at the game to do that. And most people, understandably, are not willing to put in that much time to a game that they may not enjoy that much in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like that, and that's the way that it is.
So be it.
But yeah, Monolith
I'm
is a great
not-
game.
Yeah,
It
this
seems
looks
fun.
this looks fun. Yeah, like I mean, again, like I being the one person here who mostly does not play games.
You're here
I
for
think
color
that
commentary.
if I, if I were a person who had like game skills, I think this could be, definitely a solid time sink. Like, because there's just like, it's, there's like enough variety and things going on in terms of like, like little kind of details and stuff that, would keep, it would
Yeah.
keep me invested.
Trying to decide if I open up Hollow Knight or Darkest Dungeon. My suggestion would be if you don't like things that are unfair, stay the hell away from Darkest Dungeon. I am the only person I know who like hates that game. I don't like it at all.
I mean, I was just gonna say go with Hollow Knight because cute bug people.
Yeah.
That's also true. They're also very different though, so like I don't know what you're looking for really.
I mean, yeah, they're not exactly, yeah.
One's a Metroidvania, one's like a weird... I don't know what the hell you'd call Darkest Dungeon, like a roguelike JRPG, I guess.
Huh.
Also really unfair, and it does that thing that I don't like in games where the narrator makes fun of you all the time.
Yeah, that's annoying.
But
That sounds...
some people, like, absolutely love it, though, so,
Yeah.
I mean, are we talking makes fun of you in the, like, early id Software kind of way?
No, it's just, like... I don't know how to explain it. Like, if you make a mistake, the narrator will, like, comment on it, and,
Oh, okay.
Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Ha! Okay, I actually do find that funny in a... Because
It's funny for a little while, and then it's not.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I get it.
You
would
might
be
even...
frustrating if you're, like, not having the best run ever.
Yeah.
That would suck.
To be fair, you might be able to turn it off. It's been long enough since I played the game that I do not remember. I like Darkest Dungeon, but I'm very particular about how I run the game. Okay.
That seems like something I can understand.
Presence.
They did add an easy mode to Darkest Dungeon at one point, but my understanding is that it's not much easier, so I don't know.
So, you're being murdered by a Toho ball.
And
Not everything with a lot of bullets is a Toho.
Okay, that's fair.
This isn't even a shmup, it's an arena shooter.
Well, no,
Don
it's just
Maku.
simply like the particular, like, like bullet patterns of varying elaborateness. Sort of.
Something Reflex School versus Don Maku School, something.
Oh. Yeah.
There's different schools of vertical and horizontal shmup design, and this one takes a little bit from both, but being that it's an arena shooter, instead of fixing you to one direction, you kind of have more freedom with how you can move around. It's a difficult game, but it is a fair bit easier than any shmup I've ever played.
I'm actually not, like... I have not seen, like, that many... I mean, I guess I have. Of, like, 2D arena shooters. I'm super familiar with.
There's Isaac, there's Gungeon, there's...
Yeah, it's like...
Rush
it's
Rover.
like...
Smash TV.
Smash TV is like an older one, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
like...
Ikari Warriors.
But then, like, a lot of those kind of get lumped more, like, sort of, I guess it's into, more of a subtype would be, like, roguelikes.
Yeah.
Are a particular thing. But, I mean, more along the lines of, like, just as, referred to in those terms. You know what I mean? I
Risk
don't know
of
how to explain it.
Rain. Risk of Rain's kind of a weird one. That's almost like the entire level is one arena, and then like you can kind of choose when to leave. Risk of Rain has some very odd game design going on. Not bad, but unusual.
Just unusual, just
Yeah.
different.
Risk of Rain is a good game. They're making a sequel, and I hope that comes out this year.
What effect does being under or above water have on you when you're...
So if you're in water, you and also bullets are slower.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That could have an advantage.
Yes.
But is your dash affected at all?
No. Your dash is the same speed. At least I think it is. It's definitely the same speed if you have blink like I do right now. It might be like a little bit slower otherwise, but not much slower.
Neum.
Neom. Do you guys ever want to do like a Neom?
Do you ever do a neum?
Neom.
Neum.
We have fun here.
I mean, often I feel like I want to do a newt or yeah.
A newt.
You know, like, nya.
What?
Yeah.
Stop.
Not yeah. That's different.
something
Yeah.
transgender cat girls.
Yeah. Yeah, good.
Good. That reminds me that I watched Gotcha Man Crowds this past week.
Yeah,
I think I mentioned that for like 2 seconds yesterday, and then I completely forgot to talk anymore
I
about it.
feel like, the way that Clinotaxis framed some of the things that he said, may have misled you to the tone of Insight, the sequel. Because as far as I can tell, it is more of the same, but a little weirder.
That's basically what he said after I expressed some confusion. I'm probably going to watch it at some point, I'm just not sure when.
Yeah. How did you like the first season?
I thought it was good. Not like a top 10 of all time or anything, but it was good, and it was odd enough that I feel comfortable recommending it to people, which I don't always feel with anime that I like.
Yeah, I get that. It's sort of like me and recommending Monogatari to people.
Yeah, I mean, even this season, my favorite thing that's airing is probably Darling in the Franxx, but
yeah,
of the shows currently on, Further Than the Universe is much more recommendable because it's less fucking weird. So,
And and it's the other show this season, from what I can tell, with really pretty animation and art.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of Place Further Than the Universe. I hadn't before, and it's
it's
gorgeous.
I forget who's doing that. I think it might be.
Oh my fucking god! It's so pretty.
It's who is doing that? It's Madhouse, I think, right?
Yes, it's
Madhouse.
it is Madhouse doing the most Madhouse.
Madhouse, and I think most of the people behind Further are fairly new to the industry.
It's it is really pretty. It has really actually rather nice character designs.
Yeah,
that they're
kind of
not. They're subtler than you initially notice.
Yeah, they're kind of sort of pseudo Ghibli-ish. This
a little bit.
Yeah,
it is appealing and kind of cute, but in a slightly more realistic proportion sort of way than, say, the KyoAni look.
Yeah.
And it's it's distinctly, it is very anime, but it's also like not the A1 house style, like, anime standard look.
Yeah.
It's a good look,
It is
is
a
what I'm saying.
very, very pretty show and very good. I think the last episode, especially for a lot of people, like, pushed it over from this is pretty good to, like,
Yeah.
this is one of the best things that's aired in a long time.
Yeah, and it's like the compositing is really good too, I noticed.
Mhm.
Like the way that they blend like foreground and background and
Yeah.
various effects is very nice. Like everybody knows like ufotable for that, or UFO table or however you would choose to pronounce it with like Fate. And I always found that like it's impressive, but it always felt a little overdone to me, but like subtle compositing is not that easy. Like
Also, I agree, Sturluson Ferris from ReZero is a treasure.
yes. And yet I still need to actually properly see ReZero.
My understanding is that it's kind of depressing, so it's not really on my radar.
Yeah, but I'm okay with depressing, and also it can't possibly, in terms of isekai shows, it can't possibly be as depressing as Now and Then Here and There. And I haven't finished that one. I got through half of it, and I intend to finish it. And that is one of the most brutal things I've ever seen. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to get, in that genre, it is hard to get darker than Now and
Well,
Then.
my understanding is that ReZero is more of like a smaller scale, with
Oh
the...
yeah, it's more like dealing with the implications of the fact that when you die, like the idea of the video gamey mechanic of dying and then coming back, and how that would like fuck you up,
Yeah.
and that's totally understandable. And if you're in a world where there is stuff that can happen that will kill you, it's like
Yeah. I don't know.
I
My
kind of
thing...
like that it's examining that, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like, it's not like, A, it's not going to be to everyone's taste, and B, like, it's not quite as absurdly subversive as people made it out to be. But that doesn't really matter. It's like, as long as you are telling a decent story,
Yeah. My
it
thing...
really doesn't matter.
My thing... and again, this is only to my understanding, because I haven't actually seen the show. But my understanding is that it is, kind of the school of critical takes on a genre where it's very obviously, like, not happy with where the genre is at. You know what I mean by
Oh,
that?
yeah, I totally get what you mean. Yeah,
And my thing there is that I already hate isekai, so I feel like I just don't have a reason to watch it.
I mean,
I know it has other merits. It's just like there's other stuff that's more.
among other things,
Yeah.
trans cat girl.
Yeah, I mean, there's that.
And also like there's other stuff like surprisingly decent character writing, that kind of thing. Guy who is initially an asshole and gets over himself, which is nice instead of just like being. It does seem
Well,
like
I
in
thought-
those sorts of stories that the assholeness is semi-validated, and the getting over it is sort of superficial.
Well, I thought that was one of the things that people like didn't like about ReZero is that he like kind of doesn't get over it.
He what?
I thought that one of the things people didn't like was that he kind of doesn't get over it. Like he.
I mean, from what I understood about it, it's like he doesn't he like apparently in the novels he remains slightly harsher than he does in the show. But he does he gradually gets less awful. And he's not necessarily a totally irredeemable person from the beginning.
He starts to get over his assholeness, but it's after he falls even deeper into it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I can at least kind of appreciate that.
I mean, again, I've never seen the show, so I don't know.
And again, like, I feel like it does seem like with a lot of like otherworld fiction where it's like this guy who gets thrown into another world. It's like they often have like bad attitudes which get validated, and when they superficially improve, it's just like almost a plot contrivance in a way. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, I get you. I had something that I was going to say about crowds, but I have completely forgotten what it was.
I would be interested to hear you talk about crowds because I've heard it's an interesting series and I
It
like hearing your thoughts on these things.
is. It's kind of hard to figure out until the very end, which one of those shows that I think people would benefit from watching, if only to learn how a show can change over the course of its airing. So the first season, at least, I haven't seen the second. It's like one of those things where it's like a sequel series as opposed to a second season, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's like if I'm not mistaken, it is like in a way like it does continue from where it left off.
Yeah.
But still,
What I mean is just that I've seen crowds, but not
Yeah.
Insight, which is like the second
yeah, I understand.
part of the story.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the first one, which does tell a complete story on its own,
which is always good.
yeah,
Um,
is sort of it's essentially like a fairly straightforward superhero story, but you don't really figure that out until like the second to last episode, because
yeah,
a lot of it up until that point is like building up character interactions and some world building and some other stuff, and it all of that other stuff builds up in a very nice way, so that like in the last couple episodes there's that like actually something at stake where when they go like full on Super Sentai team.
Yeah.
And that's interesting because a lot of shows cover that whole part, like the whole build up in like the first episode or two.
as opposed to making it the focus of the story.
Yeah, and whereas in crowds, that's the point, is you're seeing how they go from being like this underground group that people aren't even sure if like gotcha men are a real thing, to being literally instrumental in changing the country. Hello, Heinz.
Yeah, I heard it is very themey.
Yeah.
If that's a word.
It's a show with a lot of ideas.
Yeah, like that is definitely a Kenji Nakamura thing insofar as like things that seem to be consistent in Kenji Nakamura shows are the visuals incorporating like computer and digital stuff in really interesting, weird ways. Yeah, well, yes, Trey?
Hey, Heinz.
Heinz is here.
Hi. Hi, Heinz! But, like, incorporating, like, weird sort of digital things in various ways, the not moving patterns thing, and that the stories that he tends to tell are, like, very heavy on themes, subtext,
Yeah.
and, like, trying to put across an idea and, like, sort of ask a question through what he's, putting forward.
Yeah, it's very
like-
much a show where you're expected to do some legwork in terms of
Mononoke is kind of an extreme example of that, while still being like a satisfying horror show, even if you don't know, sort of like psychedelic, supernatural thriller, I guess. Like, even if you don't know all the Buddhist and Shinto underpinnings of it, which are really important to understanding the full meaning.
That reminds me of an interesting thing I read about crowds. which was in a Crunchyroll comment of all places.
Huh.
This guy said it as a joke, but it got me kind of thinking. One of the interesting things about Hajime, who was the protagonist,
Uh-huh.
the lead protagonist anyway, is that she does not really change at all over the course of the series.
Yeah, I heard that she's like the one character who she's like, she is essentially a self-actualized person already.
Yeah. It's
so like
really interesting because
it's her impact on other people.
Yeah.
That's the important thing.
Yeah, it's odd because most that's kind of goes counter to the usual rules of traditional storytelling where you have to have the character undergo some kind of development.
Yeah, like
Hajime is almost more of like a force to cause other people to do things.
Yeah, I was about
she
to say, like, she seems like a force, like, in a positive way, a force of nature. Like, there are, like, force of nature villains.
Yeah.
But, like, rarely do you have a force of nature protagonist who forces other protagonists to become the kind of people they have the potential to be.
Yeah. She reminds me a little bit of Mako from Kill la Kill, but, like, cranked up as far as you can take the idea, and then she's the protagonist instead of Ryuko.
Instead of being the important side character.
Yeah. So, another interesting thing about that is that she doesn't actually physically do much in terms of, like, super heroics. Like, she's only in her, like, armor maybe 3 or 4 times in the entire show. And most of the important stuff she does is, like, getting other characters to do things. Or there's this one bit which is, in the moment it's very funny, but it's important to the show's overall, like, arc. Is she accidentally, like, reveals the existence of the Gotcha Men to the public at large, so she decides to hold a press conference.
Good.
That's, like, it's something that is kind of normally the realm of, like, goofy fanfiction, more than actual, like, mainline stories.
But it's also the most practical thing given the circumstances that you could think of. And the problem is with goofy fanfiction more along the lines of that it tends to not necessarily be executed with the level of realism that it pretends to.
Well, it's not even really that it's...
Or like, not realism, but you know what I mean, verisimilitude,
yeah,
I guess, is what I mean.
It's like if something like that were to happen in the real world, obviously you would have a press conference, but fiction doesn't usually work that way. Like, you don't expect the protagonist to have, like, quote-unquote common sense.
Yeah, and also be, like, a kind of, like, this character who is essentially a force of nature, while also having enough common sense to do that.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah,
that's, like, kind of neat.
Yeah, there's, like, this whole thing, like, she sets up this press conference at a kindergarten. It's like, okay, you gotta make, like, a good first impression on the public now that... Yeah. It's like this whole bit, and everybody else is, like, super opposed to it, and the one guy doesn't even go, but it ends up working out really well in the long term.
That's good.
The thing that I was going to mention, because you brought up Buddhist themes in the one other show, was a guy on Crunchyroll. I think he was kidding, but it got me thinking. Jokingly called her a, I don't know how you pronounce the word, a Bodhisvita?
Bodhisattva.
A Buddhist saint.
Yeah, Bodhisattva
is
how you pronounce it, like, loosely. Like, the actual pronunciation, because it's Sanskrit, is, like, it requires, like, aspirated voiced consonants, which are not a thing in English, so I'm not gonna bother with that.
Oh gosh, I lost my connection right as I was doing a bit.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Well,
Because the thing crashed. But yeah, I was doing the song Bodhisattva.
Oh.
Bodhisattva, would you take me by the hand? That is, what's funny is, like, that Millie loves Steely Dan, but she's, like, totally indifferent to that song.
Huh.
Which
That's
is, like,
interesting.
one of their most beloved songs.
Yeah, that's probably the only one I know by them.
It's a great song. I
at least
like
by
it
name.
a lot.
Yeah. Another one I know only because of Rock Band, but yeah.
But also, like, you know, Everybody's Gone to the Movies.
I only really
Don't Lose
know.
That Number.
I only really know Champion, and I only know that because Kanye West sampled it.
I don't know that one.
Yeah.
I have, like, weird mixed Steely Dan knowledge. I need to listen to
It was
more of the band.
at the time that he sampled it, it was like one of the most expensive cleared samples ever.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Also, Animal Collective were actually the first people who were allowed a licensed sample of the Grateful Dead.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's not entirely surprising, but yeah, Phil Lesh let them sample. I can't remember what song, and it's like in a "What Would I Want" Sky, and of course, it's named after the line that they sample, which is "What would I want, Sky?" God, I can't. It's a fairly well-known song of theirs, and like it's on God, what's the name of that? Fall Be Kind, which was the one they released immediately after Merryweather Post Pavilion. And honestly, I like it better than Merryweather Post Pavilion, even though that one has grown on me.
Most of what I know about Animal Collective is that they have a comically large avatar on the indie music subreddit.
Huh.
It takes up like half the screen. It's hilarious.
Oh
Gosh.
dear.
Oh, the song sampled on Champion is called Kid Charlemagne, apparently.
Oh, Kid Charlemagne, I have heard of that one. I just can't remember the title. Or not the title. I don't think I'm familiar with it as a song. Because again, I need to listen to more Steely Dan. Like everything I have heard of theirs, I am quite fond of, but
going back to the anime conversation as earlier, you know what had a new episode today?
What?
Guess.
Pop
Darling?
Team Epic?
No. I don't like Pop Team Epic.
I mean, I know that, but I was just... I didn't necessarily think it was a show you liked. Just one that had an episode today.
Well, an episode today that I watched.
Katana Maidens.
Nope, that was yesterday.
I actually kind of like Pop Team Epic. At least what I've
Violet
seen of it.
Evergarden?
I'm not watching Evergarden. I think Trey might be able to get it. You're kind of missing the obvious one, Sredni.
Darling in the Franxx?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I said that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I totally said.
You did?
I totally said that.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? You did, and I completely didn't even. I'm sorry.
Because I said
it's
Pop Team
okay.
Epic at the same time, and you had to diss me.
I don't care for Pop Team Epic. I think it's fine. I just don't care for it.
Like it.
Yeah.
That's fair. It's like, actually, I've been in a situation where I can appreciate something and don't necessarily like it. And I came to the realization today, after watching a video about it, that I don't care for the film Sword of the Stranger.
I saw that movie once as part of a group watch on the Trigger Discord, and I thought it was okay.
It's okay. It's just, it's not... Like, I realized, okay, for one thing, I do adore the kid Kotaro and his dog.
Yes.
They are the best thing about that movie. I adore them both. And, but the titular stranger guy is really boring. Most of the movie is honestly really boring. And it's not bad looking, but like...
I thought this was
I
things
mean-
that you appreciated but didn't care for.
I mean, like, it's just the problem, and that, like, but what I'm saying is, like, I can really appreciate
What?
some of the care in the animation, and the final section of it has some of the most incredible action sequences and really great character moments that are fantastic. And there are bits of animation earlier on, and also background art, especially. There's some really gorgeous backgrounds in that film. And I actually really like the character designs and things, and I like the sort of ambiance it's going for. It's just
It's
and
a functional film.
I respect what it's going for. It's just I feel like it's one of those not shows. It's one of those films that should have been a TV series, but by making it shorter, it makes it feel more like filler. If that makes any sense.
I think I get you.
Yeah, it's like when when you have to cut something down so much that the plot points stop feeling like naturally paced, and they just
Honestly,
feel
like,
they're there.
When I watched it, I remember liking it, but I don't think I could tell you very much about it now. It's
Yeah,
not a very
exactly. It's
memorable
like-
movie. It's kind of...
Yeah, it's like the last quarter of it, roughly, or third of it, is really striking because it's like full of this really dark, fucked up imagery and has an incredibly, like, the very ending is hopeful, but the point right before that is incredibly nihilistic and bleak. Like, this is not a movie for, like, going like, humanity is great. No, it's like one of those old samurai films where it's like, people are terrible and they will ruin themselves and everything around them.
Essentially, what we
forever.
tried to do was make a movie about the hubris of mankind.
Yeah, kind of, but it's also like just the futility of like, it's that particularly sort of, that very sort of dark, cynical strain in Buddhist thought where, like, you sometimes see it in Kurosawa's darker films, where it's like, everything is kind of fucked, and people are not good. Like, they're not evil, but they're not good. And it's
What
like,
if-
it is and it's and it gets really uncompromising, and
What
everybody
if-
fucking dies.
What if people sometimes am good?
Yeah, I mean, people is sometimes kind. I wholeheartedly believe in that.
But what if the dinosaur shouldn't eat people because sometimes people am kind?
But who
Yeah,
was
it's
stoned?
like people is sometimes kind. It's like that is one of my favorite things from dinosaur comics. That was really sweet.
No, sometimes
like,
people am kind. I'm
no,
sorry.
Sometimes people is sometimes kind.
That was it.
Is
Okay.
amazing. And it's like
Jane,
it
that's
was
controversial.
really sweet. But
Why
yeah,
would you
like
say something so controversial yet so brave?
You know,
Exactly!
I've never seen the Eric Andre show, but I really appreciate that it had that in it, so now I can say that to things.
yeah.
Why would you
I
say
bet
something
there-
so controversial yet so brave?
Yeah, I have seen the Eric Andre show. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, that is not wrong.
I've seen a little bit of Tim and Eric, and if it's anything like that, it doesn't surprise me too much that it's
It's
Similar.
like that, but a talk show.
okay.
Yeah, pretty
A talk
much.
show.
Also, kind of a bit more outwardly obscene at certain
Well, it's
times.
more It's even more overtly confrontation.
Yeah,
I
like-
the only thing I've ever seen from the Eric Andre show was there was this skit where they had Killer Mike and Action Bronson running both on treadmills, and the idea was that it was a rap battle, but neither of them ever said anything. They were just running in silence. I think Action Bronson might have said like one line, and then
that
it
is
just
like
cuts
a
to
very
black.
tame. That is very tame for the Eric Andre show.
Yeah.
He's had like.
But brave.
There was one where he had like a really angry, well, not angry, but like very intense pro-life activist on, and like there was something, I can't remember what he released, like rats or tarantulas or something. And Hannibal Buress was just sitting there. Oh, and there were like fake explosions, and Hannibal Buress is just sitting there being like, sure.
Alright, I will be right back. I have to use the bathroom.
Alrighty.
Okay.
See you, Sturluson. Have fun with your movie.
Bye, Seth.
See you. But yeah, yeah, I like, and I do feel like a little, I'll admit, well, actually, maybe I should talk about this more when Jane is also here, but, I was thinking, it's like, I almost feel a little bad, for, feeling kind of down on Sword of the Stranger, because I do admire the craftsmanship in certain details of it.
Yeah.
But it's it still feels like there are certain little bits of it that feel, unfinished.
Uh-huh.
And, it was definitely, they actually wanted to make a series, but didn't have the, backing or whatever, or they didn't have the chance.
Yeah.
And so they, condensed it into a movie, and it's, and also there's, the stuff with, the, Chinese murder cult feels, a bit xenophobic, and I don't know, I guess, it's weird. It's a very strange film in some respects. It is simultaneously, not super memorable for much of it, but also very odd in its details.
Uh-huh.
And it's, very carefully crafted in some respects, but then there's other stuff, like the video I was watching, the guy was pointing out, that there are, weird things with the compositing and the way that some of the characters are drawn in the backgrounds and stuff, where it feels like, television anime levels, when there's other stuff that's, super high detail. And then sometimes the fight choreography of the little bursts, varies from, fantastic to, eh. And it's and it was stuff that I, subconsciously noticed, but somebody else pointing it out was oh, yeah, I actually did notice that stuff and never really said anything because it was it sort of breezed by because I was mostly indifferent to it.
Hey, why is Gogo talking about an intergalactic rap battle?
I don't know, actually. I was still talking about Sword of the Stranger.
What about Sword of the person that you know?
Intergalactic, planetary, intergalactic.
Oh, isn't that was that a Beastie Boys song?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and an enjoyable one.
All Beastie Boys songs are enjoyable, except for the bad ones.
I mean, there are some bad ones, yeah, but mostly they are were an enjoyable group.
Yeah.
Although it does, that reminds me, with Intergalactic, it's reminding me of Africa Bambaata's Planet Rock now.
Rock, Planet Rock.
And also, and also that recent episode of One Hit Wonderland talking about Kuiper, where
yeah, that
Todd
song.
Brought up Electro.
Yeah.
And Electro, I enjoy Electro a lot.
The best Electro song is Jam On It by Nucleus.
Also, Electro is the direct, sort of can be seen as the direct precursor to Detroit techno. There's definitely a bridge there, musically speaking. A lot of really early Detroit techno, like before techno became known mainly as an instrumental genre, you had like stuff where people like they couldn't afford vocoders, so they would put like really tight echoes on things that are like really, really short, so it would sound like you're a robot.
Yeah.
And that is like, honestly, I love that effect. And especially if you combine that with actual vocoder, like those kind of like, you combine the cheap trick with the actual thing and create something completely monstrous and beautiful.
But have you considered that you should jam on it?
Jam on it?
That's the only lyric I know from that song. The rest is, like, mostly not understandable.
It's vocodered. It is very 80s.
Oh, the thing Gogo was talking about is from Deltron 3030. That is a good album.
Oh.
Although not one I have listened to in a while. I wonder what Del the Funky Homo Sapien is doing right now.
Maybe he's eating a sandwich.
Maybe. He also might be asleep. I mean, it's like... The dude's,
It's
like,
late.
fairly old. I mean, he lives on the West Coast, but he might go to bed early. I don't know.
I mean, alternately, he's, like, having, like, a late-night bowl of cereal or something. Who knows? No, I seriously...
Del the Funky Homo Sapien eating a bowl of Cheerios at 9 p.m.
In a bathrobe.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing it in my
I
head.
bet No, Frosted Cheerios.
Yeah, Frosted Cheerios. That really is just perfect.
That solidifies it.
Lauren from the Lame Zone server loves Deltron 3030.
Oh, cool. Like, yeah, that is the server that I summoned, Leica/Avra from.
Okay.
Yeah, you should drag her in here at some point. Because, like, yeah, Lauren is fun. Yeah.
Maybe.
Y'all are good peeps. Y'all are good peeps, and you should show up here so I can ramble at you.
We have accrued what appears to be a squaw.
But yeah, it's like,
Squaw!
Yeah, it is a good people. It is a good server with, like, 6 regulars,
Trey.
of which I am one.
Trey.
Yeah?
Would you say that we've accrued a crew?
A crew.
A crew.
But it's like, it's great. It's like, Sturluson is one of Trey's, work friends. And, like, Gogo Otaku's been here forever. Everybody knows Heinz's and Win from elsewhere. I know Avra from elsewhere. And, like, sometimes, Millie shows up.
Yeah.
And, like, it's
Gogo
just, like,
has literally been following my streams from, like, since before Shapes and Forms was a thing.
Yeah, I remember Gogo from
I actually don't even know how they found my channel. I think they might have been somebody I, like, followed in a, like we were Twitter mutuals from, like an NLSS thing, maybe? I think that's
it's
right.
like, yeah, it's like, but nonetheless, appreciated.
Yeah,
like,
no, I'm not complaining.
Loyal viewership.
It's actually very nice. Yeah, please don't go. Speaking of Shapes and Forms starting, we
I can't read the full message that Avra said last.
I'm egging Lauren into coming, but streams make her nervous. That's fair.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
that's
fine.
entirely understandable. That is okay.
Yeah, don't worry about
Just,
it.
like, give her our love. Just we like you, Lauren. Come here if you feel comfortable.
Started following you on Twitter through Northern Lion and Rockley Smile. Okay.
Yeah, Rockley Smile is a good dude who I sometimes watch his stuff. He is fun. I like him.
He is a nice fellow.
It's like, I do not, like, I follow a couple of Let's Players and things, but I do not, like, watch a ton of Let's Plays.
Me neither anymore, honestly, like...
But I'm picky about, like, people, so it's mainly, like, It's like Rockley Smile and Loading Ready Run. I
Yeah.
follow more religiously.
Nick
Um,
is a good dude. In
yeah,
fact,
he seems like
way
just a nice human being.
he is. In fact, way back when I first started streaming. If you guys remember, I did like a couple Toho streams just by myself.
I maybe.
I don't know if either of you were there for
Yes.
that. That was like 2015. This was a long time ago. He actually like helped me out get some stuff set up
Cool.
because I like had him as a Skype friend at the time. I think.
Yeah, he just seems like a really good dude.
He is a nice person, yes. I miss indie
And it's
impressions, but I know why he doesn't do it anymore. It was
yeah, that's fair.
hugely labor
Yeah.
intensive and all that.
It's late. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Although, like, at the same time, he has a back catalog of like literally thousands of them.
Yeah, he did them every day for like 3 years, I think.
That is just like that is some fucking dedication, man.
It's like a
And
lot,
I
yeah.
admire it.
I mean, I haven't been able to keep up with doing Indie Bazaar once a week.
And he's like, and some of them they range from like the shortest are like maybe 10 minutes, and the longest are like 40
Yeah.
or more. And it's like, and every single day, and it's like, damn man, like I cannot like write and compose like a 3-minute song over the course of a month. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, you are so
He has-
productive, and it's quality stuff too. It is fun.
Yeah, he has
Like-
the hustle.
He do have the hustle. Or does, depending upon whether you would prefer to use, like, slightly goofy grammar or not.
Goofy Grammar, band name of the day.
Goofy grammar. Goofy grammar sounds like a
A
sort
dumb
of,
electronic music pop band that's like kind of in the vein of Duck Sauce.
There we go.
I was
like
about to
jokey
say,
shit.
like, it seems like, like a, like goofy but not edgy breakcore producer. Like,
Yeah, that's fair.
like tongue-in-cheek, kind of like cheerful, maybe like kind of doing the J-core thing where it's like sampling like, J-pop music and like,
Yeah.
and like, but with like crazy, like 2316 beats.
That reminds me that I bought an album from Mad Maid once. That was a weird decision.
Who?
Mad Maid. I don't know if they're anybody well known. They're a breakcore artist from Japan.
I might have known that. I might know that name. I'm not sure.
I think it's a lady, had an album made out of Toho samples, and I think I bought it for that reason.
Cool. What did Alvaro say?
Fuck
Hey, wait,
Buttons are opening for Groovy Grammar. They play Gabber, Grammar, Core, Grime Step.
Hey.
Yeah, like, what I have heard of Fuck Buttons I've enjoyed. It's very strange, but at the same time, I have heard, like, not good things about one of their members' solo album recently, and it's kind of disappointing.
You know who apparently released a very disappointing solo album recently?
Who?
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, apparently.
It's apparently, like,
I-
really bad. I didn't
The
listen to it
two-
yet, so I
The
can't.
two, you know what? The two singles I heard from it were, like, kind of interesting. If
Yeah,
not
the-
really my thing.
The first single was weird. It was pretty, like, okay. It was interesting, but I don't know if it was the type of thing that I'd listen to, like, regularly, the way that his earlier stuff had been.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know.
Filthy was odd, and
I liked that one.
I liked the weird kind of like, survivalist shit on supplies. Like, that's just such a strange topic for a song in some ways. I kind of appreciated
Yeah.
that sort of element.
Jane,
But,
did we
like-
become Twitter mutuals in 2016 or 2015? Honestly, I'm not sure. I kind of get, like, the last couple of years kind of sound way more depressing than I intended to. But, the last couple of years kind of run together for me because I haven't been doing much, like, outside of the internet. So I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, like, I just, like...
When did you meet me? Jin, I believe we met on either the Trigger Discord or the Little Witch Academia Discord before that. I'm not sure which one.
You know, it's kind of interesting to, like, think... You know, maybe, like, I mean, of course, like, Discords form many things, and this seems like a thing that would obviously have a Discord around it. But it is interesting that there was, like, aside from the dedicated Trigger Discord, a dedicated Little Witch Academia Discord.
Well, the LWA Discord actually came first.
Yeah, I know, I remember. It's, like, before there was a dedicated Trigger Discord.
Part of the reason that Gob made the Trigger Cord was because he was like, I shouldn't speak for him, but I think part of the reason was that he was not super satisfied with how the LWA Discord was like.
Yeah, I heard there was some drama.
Oh god, dude, I could sit here all day. It's kind of amazing because like there was almost as much drama in the LWA Discord as there was in my entire time at TV Tropes. And I was on TV Tropes for several years.
We spent half an episode yesterday talking about TV Tropes stuff, and not most of it, I don't know, half of that or a third of that was like us talking about the weird drama there.
Yeah. And
like, my god.
There was almost as much on the LWA Discord, and I was only that was only a thing for like 6 months, if that. It's still around, but my understanding is that nobody really uses it anymore.
The place that I think that I was on that had the most drama ever, which I'd rather not talk about. You know where I'm talking about, Jane.
Do I? Oh! Yes, I do. Okay.
Oh god, that just like... I managed to get a footnote on an Encyclopedia Dramatica page for that.
I think I did too, actually.
Because I was trying to, like, sort of troll some people there, but of course, being, like, in a weird place mentally at the time, I kind of backed off on it when I, like...
There's a lot of shit that's still wrong with the internet, but I'm glad that ED doesn't fucking exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Jesus.
God.
Good riddance to bad rubbish, basically.
But I mean, what did Alvar say? And also
what?
Heinze. Oh, what? Oh, you don't... Oh, no, there's, like, there's some context that is just not
worth going into in heavy detail here.
Really not worth going into, my dude.
Definitely. I know what you're. I know what you're talking about too. Just so you guys know, and.
That was
I was there too.
What did she say?
That's okay. It was just shocking, is what she said.
Oh, you mean the whole having a footnote on an Encyclopedia Dramatica page? Some weird Turkish dude apparently was internet stalking that community for no particular reason.
That sounds about right.
And decided to start an ED page. Last I checked, it hadn't been updated in so many years when that community had died over a year before.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that it did because, like, there are like 2 people who I keep in contact with from that community who were actually decent human beings. And there was one person who was, like, there are 1 or 2 people who are very briefly there who, I know from other places who thankfully got the fuck out.
Including me.
There's also you. There are a couple of people who, like, were there for, like, 5 minutes, and it's like...
I was there for, I think, like, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah,
before I just got fed up with the fucking place.
Yeah, with the fucking bad vibes. Like, I'm a stubborn person, is the thing.
Like, I don't know.
I once described that forum as, like, in reference to, like, somebody else being in like a sort of problematic situation with some acquaintances of theirs. I described it to them as a miniature version of something awful with salty ex TV tropers.
That sounds about right. The worst
Oh yeah,
drama
yeah.
I've ever dealt with was when
Somehow
I was.
worse.
The worst drama I've dealt with was when I was involved in a small group of Ohmwrecker chat mods and fans. I remember you.
What? What mods and fans?
Ohmwrecker was a, maybe still is. I don't know if he still makes stuff or not. Is a Let's Player who was at one point like kind of affiliated with the NLSS, but not super much.
Oh, okay.
He used to do like a lot of strategy game stuff.
Oh, that's actually interesting. But yeah, like, I also know, well, given the fact that you also modded a Lovecraft group, and, like, with some serious ass clowns, like, you've talked about that, that sounds like it managed to clear a high bar for bullshit.
Actually, the quickest I've ever bailed on a community that I was, like, majorly involved in was actually probably the Darlifra server.
Oh.
That place got nasty fast. Like...
Oh, I am so sorry.
Yeah. I'm kind of over it now, but... I'm not over it, but I care less.
The one with that one guy who you've said before is one of the few people you actually...
I will say his name. I fucking hate Rob. He's a douchebag. I don't like him. I just don't like the guy. Like,
really
nice.
Don't like this
like,
dude.
and it helps that his internet screen name is like one of the most generic names in the English language, but yeah, I just don't like the dude.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him because we don't run in the same circles, but it's like, I'm thinking, like, the only other people I've heard you, like, that angry about a person are, like, a proto-MRA and a person who, like, said some shit which was understandably incredibly insensitive to you once. And, like...
I actually don't think I know who you're talking about with the second one.
Hex.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, who I am still friends with. So
that I would rather not talk about for various reasons. But
oh yeah, I totally get that. That was some not good shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
A 13-year-old Ohm fan tried to manipulate me into dating her when I was 19, and she claimed to be 17. Ugh.
Ew. That's awkward as shit.
That's...
Damn.
Yeah.
That's, like, awkward and also
that's
really
like
disturbing.
a special kind of awkward, yeah.
It's like, it manages to, like, be, like... You're trying to get somebody else fucking arrested?
I don't know.
What?
There were people like that in various places I've run in. I don't get it either. But yeah, not to air out our dirty laundry or anything, but
Oh no, but I mean, like, I get, it's like, that's one of those things that you sometimes do run into the internet. The opposite is obviously infinitely more gross.
Yeah.
And creepy, but it's like, it's still fucking creepy. Like, let's not beat around the bush. It's creepy. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, yes, there are kids, so they don't understand the repercussions of this shit.
As a certain
still.
As a certain band said, teenagers scare the living shit out of me.
That is a My Chemical Romance song I like.
I like that song a lot also.
Yeah, like, just like, yeah, that's a fun song, actually.
It is.
Like, I'll admit that, like, I have softened a lot on My Chemical Romance as I've been distanced from my friend, this one close friend of mine's, like, emo pop phase. When she was a teenager. Like, we're almost exactly the same age. She is exactly a day older than me. And she was super into, like, The Used and My Chemical Romance.
There's a name I haven't heard in a long time. The fucking
Oh yeah.
years.
My sister accidentally got me a used CD once for my birthday.
Oh,
And I
really? Who
got
was it by?
no, no. But
Oh
it
my
was
god.
a new used CD. Funnily enough.
Sorry.
But I got
Incredible.
mad and she got really upset and I felt really bad. And then
Aw.
later, and then recently I did sort of apologize to her earlier, but like recently I remembered it and felt awful and then I apologized and she was like, you know what? I feel like I totally, like, you know what? I screwed up. I wasn't even looking for that band. I just got that one because I was thinking of a different band that you liked.
Hmm.
And like I got confused and I don't even particularly like the used or didn't. So
I had
like
a friend at that, like, in middle school who was really into the Hollywood Undead. And I don't
oh
know.
man.
And I think that the only thing that reminded me of that is that used and undead both start with the letter U.
Hollywood Undead are like Attila but only slightly less embarrassing.
Are those guys are
Goodness.
like okay nowadays, right? I hope so. Nobody
Hollywood Undead?
Yeah, nobody who's ever done that for a living deserves to have a bad life.
Well, Hollywood Undead were apparently really assholes. They beat up one of their drummers.
Oh, never mind.
Good god.
I take
Like,
it back.
fuck them. But yeah, apparently they tried to go, like, super pop recently and failed miserably.
That's interesting.
But,
Actually, you know
like,
who else I haven't thought about in a long time in that same vein?
Broken Side?
Broken Side, yes. That's actually is
Oh
who I
my
was
god,
going to say.
no!
Broken Side still make music.
Ow!
I
God.
don't know. But it, like, whenever I think, the only way to wash the taste out of my mouth of those sort of bands is, like reasonably speaking, is to listen to, like, actually good deathcore, which does exist. There's not a lot of it, but it does exist.
I don't even know what deathcore is, to be honest with you.
Okay, I'll
Other
explain
than presumably the band, the genre that the Hollywood Undead are part
No,
of.
that's technically crunkcore, which is descended from, like, second or third wave deathcore.
Jesus.
So deathcore is a combination of metalcore, which was originally a combination of, like, you know, thrash metal and hardcore. Kind of specifically the more chaotic end of hardcore, but it became, like, more polished. You had the kind of Beauty and the Beast vocals, you know, like sung vocals combined with, like, the screaming, you know, that kind of thing, and it became more like more focused on stuff like breakdowns when it gets slower and chuggier, and like combined with elements from death metal, usually like brutal death metal, like, you know, Cannibal Corpse, Suffocation.
Can I
Mortician.
just say, like, I know this is not an original observation by any stretch of the imagination, but as somebody who doesn't listen to very much metal at all metal subgenre names sound fake to me.
They do. I'm not going to disagree. I mean, deathcore sounds pretty fake. Brutal death metal sounds pretty silly. I mean, it makes sense in context.
Well, yeah, because it's all like, it's like this plus this, and you, like, mash the words
Yeah,
together.
exactly. It's all descriptive when you get down to it. Like, death metal is named after Death, who are sort of the pioneering band in that style, like, emerging out of thrash. And thrash is called that because, you know, thrash, you know what I mean? Like, and that is, like, descended from speed metal, which is, it's metal, and it's fast. You know what I mean? Like, it's, and black metal is called that because of Black Metal by Venom. You know, and, like, and how that
Metal is
sort
the
of
realist of music. Is that Sonic? Is that Shadow the Hedgehog?
Oh no.
Um,
But, like, and, like,
With a
you
knife.
know, industrial was called that because of Industrial Records, and then combined with metal as industrial metal, and that was really the earliest band that did that was
Yeah.
KMFDM back in the 80s.
I mean, honestly, like, not to turn the telescope back on me, like, hip hop is
Uh-huh.
kind of getting there in terms of.
Oh man, yeah.
I mean, this is not like a
Electronic has always been there.
Yeah.
At that,
Oh
at
yeah,
that point,
definitely.
too.
Like Detroit techno.
I
you know,
really
Chicago
hate-
house.
every single name that depending on who you ask, new wave trap, SoundCloud rap, mumble rap. I hate all of those descriptions.
Yeah.
They're all so
But,
bad.
I mean, there are no good real descriptors for it. But drill was a pretty dumb name to begin with.
I don't know where that term comes from.
I don't entirely understand it either. I know it was a Chicago thing and there's a specific context to it. Like, there's a slang reason for it, but, like, trap also only really makes sense within the context of the Atlanta trap. Like, you know,
well,
because it was a way to talk about the ghetto as a trap. It's like, you know, this is a shitty place to live. You know, it's a trap, and
I
it's
actually don't know, because the name of the genre comes from, like, trap houses. I don't know if the term trap house has anything to do with that. It might. I actually don't know.
Yeah,
but
like, I mean, I thought, I was pretty sure that because of where it came out of, like, it came out of the Atlanta trap.
Yeah, I think T.I. coined the term. He has an album called Trap Music.
It might be, like, almost, like, not exactly a pun, but a double meaning. You know what I mean?
It could be. Honestly, I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I've never been super into Atlanta hip-hop. I like some stuff. Like, a lot of the people who are now, like, considered, like, sort of elder statesmen of trap music, like, 2 Chainz and Gucci Mane and some other people. I like that.
Yeah, like... Yeah.
A lot of the new stuff that leans more heavily on, like, the auto-tune singing and sort of like the Young Thug style, I don't really care for as much.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, I enjoy Young Thug for his weird beats and oddball personality.
What were you gonna say?
But, like, yeah.
What I wonder is, how do you guys feel about the convergence of the hip hop trap versus the electronic trap, which have similarities but are distinct genres?
I always thought that the fact that EDM trap was even called that was really weird. Because
I mean, it's like, the point was that it was like, you know,
it's
like,
the drum patterns. They're patterned after.
It was explicitly made in homage to early trap.
Yeah.
You know, and then it started to, like, cross-pollinate.
Get really big.
Yeah, but it also cross-pollinated with, like, really lazy, like, sort of, you know, bottom-of-the-shelf hardstyle and stuff. And, you know, like, hardstyle is, like, it's a willfully dumb genre, and I will give it a pass.
The word trap causes a flight or fight response in me, and it's all the fault of shitty weebs. Oh, the other... Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't even think
We're
of that.
not gonna go there.
We are not going to go there. All I can say is there are so many better terms for that phenomenon that are not shitty.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. Goodbye, Jen. Have fun.
Yeah, like, yeah, Avra. Yeah, like, you... I have had,
Anyway.
experiences.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get into it.
We were talking about the genre of music.
Yeah.
Half of us are like, yeah, like, half of us are trans-folk here. I'm, like, one of the few exceptions.
Yeah.
Like...
I made a comment yesterday on gay shitpost sounds, and it was in response to somebody else's post, but it was like, I can't wait to sit on my ass all day and wear striped leggings while playing Duke Nukem 3D.
Yes! Oh my god.
That's kind of where I want to be at, like, 1 year from now.
I have gradually realized, and also, like, Millie has in turn been absorbed into this. You have indoctrinated her into the trans culture, and now she wears striped leggings and shirts.
I don't understand the appeal of striped leggings, despite myself wanting a pair. Like, I don't
honestly do. Would like striped leggings.
Like, they're visually interesting, but so are a lot of things. I don't know.
No, like I would wear striped leggings and a giant oversized sweater and make stupid Moe girl noises. And a cow scarf. And a fucking cow scarf. That would just make my life. Either that or striped stockings.
I guess
Striped
they
stockings,
are pretty cute.
like those striped stockings are hard to
Constellation
keep up with.
leggings?
Oh, yes, you are my hero.
What the
Those
hell?
are-
I want
Those are
constellation
fucking
leggings.
dope as shit. Like, not literal shit, obviously, which is not dope. But, like,
Thank you
the
for
more,
clarifying that.
the proverbial sense, like, as in the shit. You know, like,
We
like
know that,
what
you meant!
No, I was half mentally referencing the Melt Banana post. Like the vocalist of Melt Banana, she asked about because she is Japanese, she was asking about the vernacular. Which one is good, shit or the shit? And it was
Well,
actually
I guess it is a
really
point of
endearing.
confusion for people who don't speak English as a first language.
And also, especially when they don't have like the as a word in their native language.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Like-
right. Japanese doesn't have
Yeah, and like she
that.
was, and then somebody clarified it for her, and it's like, oh, good, and like said something was the shit, and it was like she was very happy, and it was like awesome.
Sick.
I mean, I quite enjoy Melt Banana, and they seem like good people.
Melt banana, melt banana, melt banana, melt banana, melt banana, melt banana, melt banana,
Melt
melt
banana,
banana, melt banana, melt banana, melt banana.
Melt banana.
Have you ever heard anything by Melt Banana?
Nope.
They're a duo. Technically they're a duo. They have like guest drummers, but there's a vocalist and she does various things. But like, there's also this guy who's a guitarist and does looping things, and they're like this crazy combination of like, they're like cute grindcore,
Huh.
and they're
Interesting.
very experimental and like do some really wild atmospheric stuff too, and they're delightful. And I need to get deeper into their discography because everything is like gold.
So, melt banana, melt banana.
Melt banana.
Melt
does
banana.
what did Albert say? Does the loop?
Does he loop the word melt banana?
Well, does he loop the word melt? I don't think so. I think he mostly loops guitar passages.
Why doesn't he loop the word melt banana, melt banana?
I mean,
melt
I
banana,
would-
melt
You know
banana.
what I would do? You know what? I'm gonna like, just because like it is one of the things on my list now that whenever I release that fucking hip hop EP I eventually intend to do, I am going to for one thing I'm gonna make a beat out of the slam from Suffocation's Liege of Inveracity. And the other one, I'm going to have a loop of you saying Melt Banana with samples of Melt Banana, and I'm going to make a usable beat out of it.
Have fun with that. I'm not saying you can't do it.
banana.
I'm just saying it's gonna take you a while.
I mean, of course it will take me a while. Everything takes me a while.
I made an instrumental out of Surf City by Henri the other day, which is like a
Yeah, I
a
heard.
pretty straightforward
Yeah,
pop
like,
song,
I mean,
but it's
yeah, like
sonically dense enough that you have
I-
to do some.
yeah, like
nonsense.
I really liked most of it. I felt like the ending could have been cleaned up.
Hmm.
Like, but I did really enjoy like the parts where you were like sort of almost in a way riding that sample, you know?
Yeah, well, in general, the idea was to let the sample kind of unwind twice and then let the song end.
I get that. Yeah, it's just like I felt like
It's on the actual record. It's going to be between two larger songs.
yeah, I
So-
just feel like and it was a problem that you were actually discussing was like that the percussion works really well for most of the track, and then at the very end it feels like a little not quite. And it's like, but if you cleaned that up, that would be dope.
Hmm. Well, I already sent the instrumental out to Stripes, so...
Oh, well, I mean... Oh, I'm sorry, Jane. I'm sorry for ragging on your stuff. I thought I was being constructive in my
It's okay.
criticism.
Uh,
God.
save it for the remix album or something.
Yeah, yeah. But nonetheless, it would be interesting to hear someone rap over it.
You will get to hear somebody rap over it
I
eventually.
know Stripes is gonna, like the things that he's done with you, I have liked.
Yes.
So I'm looking.
I have
forward
faith
to
that he will kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like he has.
Also, you should work with Flozus again. That
Flozus,
collab album is pretty good.
Floz is mostly retired from music making.
Oh,
well,
that's
gotcha.
I shouldn't put it that way. He's retired from making his own music. He has
Produces now?
like a studio now that he does mixing and mastering stuff
Well,
at, I think.
good for him.
We don't talk
Cool.
too much anymore just because he's a busy guy nowadays.
Oh
But
yeah, but like I get it.
he's a good
But,
dude.
Yeah, like well, good for him. I'm happy for him. Now I'm remembering that the nameless samurai from the forums, worked as an audio engineer for a while and apparently has like a degree in that.
That's cool. I didn't know that about him, actually.
Yeah, like he knows some. He also knows how to use Nuendo, which is one of those studio quality DAWs that like very few people use outside of studios.
I don't think I've ever even heard of that.
Yeah, it's like one of those weird ones. Like it's sort of like Pro Tools.
Okay.
Isn't it made by the same people that do Cubase?
Yes, I believe so.
Steinberg, right?
Actually, Sredni, now that I think of it, because you mentioned using like an obscure audio device, you would probably like the like chiptune type thing I put out the other day.
Yeah, I like the escape the room thing.
Yeah.
I have been meaning to I was thinking the weird problem is actually it's funny is that Laika, who's here, and Lauren both dropped albums recently, and two of my other friends dropped albums recently. So it's like, holy shit, everyone I know who makes music is dropping albums. Soon Trey is gonna secretly drop an album on me, and then it's gonna be Yaren, and then it's gonna be fuck, everyone. The two other people.
By the time
albums,
that one comes out, I'll have released 18 more.
Oh jeez, yeah,
Yeah.
But I was wondering, you'd been quiet for a while, and I was like,
well, I put
James
out
gonna drop an album.
I put
And
out
it
that
was
EP of just 3 random songs. The other
yeah, that was a
earlier in the
while
month.
ago. I'd forgotten about that actually. Yeah, my two other friends who had one released 2 albums, and they do sort of really minimal emo stuff that's really intense. And I am, and there are 2 albums, one of which they apparently recorded all in one take in the middle of the night. And I'm this sounds pretty cool, but I need to be in the right headspace for that.
But
and the other one's more full. And then the other person is you might know them from Secret Places. He does harsh noise stuff, and apparently works entirely in fucking Audacity, and I don't know how he does it.
I used to do that
Good
before I
God.
started using FL Studio.
I know.
I don't
Jesus.
recommend it.
Yeah,
but I mean,
he's
whatever
he's
works.
This weird, he's this weird sound design noise prodigy.
Yeah, it's
and,
to make anything in
I love
Audacity,
his work.
you basically what you're doing is making music by cutting cassette tape together.
Yeah, exactly.
Except it's
it's
a digital
tape. As he put it, it's really good for plunderphone.
yeah.
But for a lot of other things, it makes stuff really difficult.
Yeah. it's not really meant for that. It's more like a
Yeah,
very
it's an
simple
audio
editor,
editor.
like Edison
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, like I use Audacity essentially as an effects module. Like if I want an effect to apply to something and I don't want it to be like directly in Logic, like running. If I just want to affect a sample and have it like be hard set in a particular order, then I'll run it through Audacity. Also, if I want to like speed up or slow down something or run it backwards or have it change speed over time, then I run it through Audacity.
Yeah.
Also, like noise generation, sine wave generation, that kind of thing, and like like taking clips out of context and stuff from audio from like movies and stuff. It's really useful for that.
One of the things I like about FL Studio is that you can do most of the stuff you would do in Audacity in the main sequencer if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, apparently you can do a lot of that in Logic if you're like really like diligent with it. But like a lot of the stuff in Logic, there's a lot of like like cutting and pasting sort of stuff that you can do that's like really fine-boned and impressive. Yeah, oh yeah, and Avra mentions like mashups and editing existing things. Yeah, that's another good use for Audacity. Although it is although matching up like speeds and things like is a little harder.
Yeah.
Because
am I mistaken, or is Logic vertically scrolling?
Logic, like it. Have you ever seen? It looks a lot like FL and GarageBand.
Oh, okay. For some reason,
Like,
I thought
visually.
it was I thought it did like sort of the tracker style thing where it scrolls from top to bottom.
Oh
instead
no,
of
that's
left
like
to right.
Renoise does that. I think
Okay.
Renoise is like that is like expert tier. Do not fuck around with this if you do not really know what you're doing.
I really want to try Reason out because it seems like the natural evolution of my work with Audio Tool, which I've gotten to the point where I can do like pretty good stuff with AT, but I'm looking for something that goes a bit deeper.
Yeah.
So like I'd like to try Reason eventually, but
I think GarageBand was actually developed as a light version of Logic, which is why I'm so like in tune with how Logic works. Partly,
I feel like
yeah.
I feel like I'd probably be able to make pretty good sense of Logic too, but my thing is that I'm probably not going to end up getting a Mac again, just because.
I am not great with PCs.
Is Reason multi-platform?
Yeah, Reason's on both.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like Logic. I think they may finally be porting Logic to like. I think it's on Linux.
Speaking
they're
of
finally porting it to Windows.
Speaking of FL Studio, I wanted to get in that the current, I think it's still the current #1 song in the country, was produced in FL Studio.
Which one?
The one Drake song that I cannot remember the name of off the top of my head.
Oh, that one from
like
the EP.
Fear of God or something. I forget what he called it.
No, God's Plan.
That's it. Yeah, the producer for that is a guy named Cardo Got Wings, and he produces, I believe, entirely in FL Studio.
Actually, interestingly enough, St. Vincent's album Actor, a lot of the sounds that are on that album were her. She came up with stuff in GarageBand and built songs around it.
Yeah.
And that actually and it sounds amazing also because she recorded the actual instrument parts in an actual studio. But all the GarageBand stuff, you can sort of recognize it if you're super familiar with the program and have been working with it for a long time. I worked in it for years and essentially doing, ridiculous hacks to get it to do what I wanted.
Yeah.
Also using Audacity to fuck with it. still, it sounds fantastic. Like, you can use super simple software and get really good
Yeah.
results.
Well, the thing about FL Studio is that it's not even like FL Studio is a fully featured DAW.
Oh
People
yeah, I
just
know. It's
don't
like, I
like
mean,
people underestimate it because
yeah, I
like
feel like,
I I guess because of Soldier Boy having used a preset beat once and it just like never shook that
yeah.
association. I don't know.
Which is ridiculous because, like, I've seen FL Studio and it's like got almost the same level of density and functionality as Logic.
Like
Logic just goes a bit deper with the sample editing shit. Like,
I've
it's a
been
little more
using
hardcore.
I've been using FL Studio for like 4 or 5 years and I still don't know how to do plenty of things in it.
Yeah,
So,
like I was once watching like Millie record like years ago when she still was doing more music stuff. Doing a track in FL Studio, and I was like kind of entranced by like the different layers of
yeah.
activity in it. And like but yeah, regard at Avra about like, you know, the sort of crapshoot trial and error nature of like using Audacity for mashups. Yeah, I can understand that, and that can be fun with some stuff, like just fucking around with the different tempos and things.
I
But but at the same time, I prefer exactitude because I am anal retentive.
the reason I brought up my album earlier, the chiptune
Uh-huh.
thing,
Yeah.
was actually I wanted to mention that as far as like obscure software, I made it other than a drum sample on the very first track. I made it entirely with Deputy 2, which is uh, it's meant to for strings, but it's a weirdly versatile synthesizer, and it's freeware, and like nobody seems to use it, which I don't understand why.
Huh.
Because it's like
Yeah.
easily the best piece
If
of equipment
if
I've used in
if
FL in a long
I
time.
if I if there is a Mac version, I will look that up.
It's a VST plugin. I don't know if Reason.
VSTs can work on Macs, but I'm like shit at getting anything. Like, they're not really compatible with Logic is the problem. I think they are now compatible with GarageBand of all things. Like
Have you
GarageBand, but not
tried?
Logic.
Have you tried Sakura? I have not. Which I don't think I have. But
But like, yeah, that was my same problem with Synth One, which looks dope as hell. Um, but like, there are a lot of inbuilt plugins in Logic that already do some amazing stuff that I'm really happy. Like, I was able to get a noise, a like what sounded like a noise rock version of a dubstep
okay.
love.
um, I am going to use the restroom quick, and I'm out of tea, but
Okay.
or not tea, soda. But when I come back, we can play a little bit of GeoGuessr, and then we'll call it a night.
Awesome. I actually need to run and get something for my throat because I've been just so much talking and I need to drink something. Oh, bye, Avra. Have a good time. And thank you. Thank you for attending. Always fun to have people, you know, here who are not like always here. It's like, you know, it's exciting. Uh, yeah. So, yeah, like, I'm sorry, Trey. You are once again going to have to perform terrible karaoke for us all and make an effort to do so. Like, you can't, like, you have a beautiful voice and do great karaoke, and you're going to have to ruin it for the entertainment of the masses. Like,
Incredible.
actually, I do have water here, but I also want to get, like, another donut because I am a terrible glutton and, you know, want to, like, you know, just fill myself with fat.
Grow fat from strength.
Yes, I derive strength from fat and fat from strength.
Two hearts beat together, cut loose, but carry on too far. Show me where your love's gone. And now if there's a part of you giving it all to me, giving it all to me, giving it all, there's a part of you giving it all to me, giving it all to me. And then I gotta do the girl part because like the song doesn't work without it. Then now tell me we're lost, 'cause I've been waiting for you. Da 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 da. Don't tell me we're lost. Da, 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 da. 'Cause I've been waiting for you tonight. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
Hi.
Hello. I was entertaining folks, I guess, with Two Hearts by Nazca Lines for a very broad definition of entertainment because I'm pretty sure that nobody would actually recognize the song, but you know, it's whatever. It's cool. It's cool. Everything's fine. I'm okay. I've also been like listening to you guys and then playing Destiny because I'm silly. You know, multitasking, you know.
That's alright. Can I join for GeoGuessr? We're probably only going to do like one round. I would say sure otherwise, but we're not going to be at it for very long because I'm out of caffeine, so I'm going to get very tired soon.
'Cause I've been waiting for you tonight. Take on me.
Take on me.
Take me up.
Take
What's
on
up?
I'll be gone.
Oh my god, you can actually hit that fucking note. Even, like, not even perfectly, but you can still get there. That is wrong.
Hey guys,
It's awesome, though.
Hey,
also,
guys.
we are totally in fucking Brazil, right outside of Sao Paulo.
yeah. Also, like, Fim do Treco Sab Conceição
Yeah, I know, but it
Centrovius.
said, like, right up there, that, you know,
Yeah, de Sao Paulo.
Governo do Estado de São Paulo.
Yeah, there we go. We were like a little bit further in than I thought, but
Yeah, but
That was a
still,
good
it's in
one.
the same state, at the very least.
that was a good one for once
There,
in
you know, it
Brazil.
is weird sometimes to realize that that while states do not necessarily function the same way in provinces, you know.
Darn it!
But,
I
like,
forgot to put the thing back up.
oh,
Eh. Hold on. We greatly apologize for this. No, why in the world would I want to record my volume mixer? You stupid fucking thing.
You know,
I got it.
I've wanted to, like, curse slightly less, but at the same time, this stream sometimes just encourages my worst traits. Not all my worst traits, but, like, I'm just like, shit, fuck, damn, as my mom would say. My mom is a wild character. Y'all should know.
Ignorant Shit by Jay-Z playing in the background.
So, like, but what I was gonna say is, like, it is weird to sometimes think and realize that, like, other countries do have states which have entirely different cultures and vibes, within a country, and like the United States does, it's just that they have a different governmental system that makes them less autonomous. and like, Brazil, Mexico, Canada has its provinces, Australia
I'm
has its whole thing.
I'm octostronomous. Have you ever thought about that?
Rumination espresso.
Um,
Sredni, have you ever thought about the fact that I'm octonymous?
that means you have 8 names. That's a lot of names.
It's actually probably more than that by now.
Yeah, it's like, as opposed to eponymous, which would be like when a band has a self-titled album.
Or when
Or
that band
referring
is
to,
Chicago and have like 23 self-titled albums.
yeah, or like, or we're
Weezer
talking about,
have Weezer have something like 5 or 6.
or we're talking about like, REM's compilation album, Eponymous, which taught me the word in the first place.
What
It's
if there
like,
was a band called Eponymous Album and they put out an eponymous album called Eponymous Album?
yeah,
Oh god.
uh,
What if
Eponymous album is the eponymous album
I
by
was thinking that
American
when
rock band.
I was
Eponymous album.
thinking that when I get my metal band off the ground, or grindcore, doom, weird bullshit, whatever, uh, like, I am going to, like, it's going to be called a Union of Piss Wolves, which is a reference to a video game that is also an opera.
Okay, but
And
have you considered?
But no, what I was gonna say is that I really want if we get an album together, to call it the self-titled album by a Union of Piss Wolves. By a
That's
Union of
very
Piss
good.
Wolves.
However, I would like you to consider something.
All right, considering.
Alright, so there's this rap group called the Army of Pharaohs. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And one of the members of that group is named Self-Titled. If he put out
Oh
an
my.
eponymous album, it would be a self-titled, self-titled, titled, self-titled.
Oh Lord.
You're welcome.
Also, the name Army of Pharaohs is pretty weird because, like, having multiple pharaohs at the same time seems to kind of
Also, most of them are white.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not like either like I mean, it's like
Actually,
you can
who's in
stretch it
Army
if
of the
you're black,
Pharaohs now?
but
Hold on, let
really
me
you
look
should
this up.
probably be Egyptian or Sudanese for that, like strictly speaking.
Yeah, let me look at the group photo. The really tiny group photo. Yeah, I think there's 2 black members and then like 8 white guys.
Oh my God, that's a lot of
It's
that is
Oh wow.
a super group. It's like the Jedi
oh,
mind
it's a
tricks
super group. Okay,
plus a
that
bunch of
makes
other people. I think.
but yeah, like I mean, like I don't know, like, I mean, logically, strictly speaking, the closest thing you to get to an army of pharaohs at this point would be like a bunch of Coptic rappers, but I don't know there are that many of those.
There's probably Coptic rappers in like Ethiopia somewhere.
Yeah, there probably are. Like, I mean, like there is a Coptic diaspora outside of Egypt, and hip hop appeals to a lot of different groups.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, there's a lot of bad shit that's going down in Egypt that people will probably want to rap about. Like, it tends to attract that as a genre, and I wouldn't be surprised. But at the
Which
same
is
time,
why
like,
it makes me kind of annoyed that the first major like non-English hip hop scene that seems to be breaking through is fucking Norway's.
where?
Norway.
Norway?
Yeah, or not Norway,
I thought that
Sweden.
it would be like the
Sorry.
Dominican Republic or something.
Not like for whatever reason like Young Lean got popular. He's Swedish.
Okay, Young Lean, but that's Young
And
Lean.
then
That's one guy and his friend.
but then there was like there's like now like a wave of them. There's
Oh.
fuck, what is that guy's name? Something with a J. There's a couple of them that are like, they're not popular yet, but they're like pitchfork popular. You know what I mean?
I mean, to be fair, there's been like, like a Latin hip hop scene, like, bubbling under
Yeah, but
forever
they're
that
getting
people
like,
have paid attention to
but they're
somehow.
like getting critical attention from English speaking news outlets.
Yeah,
And like, uh, just like, I'm sure
well,
Swedish people are perfectly capable of making good hip hop music. It's just,
Norwegian, you were saying,
yeah,
rather than
I
Swedish.
made a mistake. It's actually Sweden, not Norway. Although I'm
Oh,
sure there's
Sweden.
some crossover there. Uh,
Oh my god, somebody should start a Norwegian hip hop group just to piss off Varg Vikernes,
I'm sure
so
somebody
he can complain
has.
about. Also, like, actually, like, it is sort of interesting how, like, a lot of, like, the way that a lot of, like, very like, extremely un-Nordic, like, uh, Western popular culture has penetrated into, like, Norway and Sweden and Denmark and Iceland.
There's a lot of like house
Well,
music that comes from Norway now, right?
oh yeah, like tons of house and trance music and stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
it gets cold up there. I
Techno.
can understand wanting to make some
Oh yeah.
party music.
But also like guys like Todd Terje making like retro disco.
Todd Terje is a good fellow.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
It's
I
album
enjoy his
time.
work a lot. But
It's
also
album
like
time.
Bum bum ba da ba da da.
but like, like
Ba da
various
da 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 da
like
da da da.
you got like the there's some interesting stuff where like the way that hip hop and electronic music have influenced like black metal bands and stuff out there, like some really weird ones like Beharit, who I mean Beharit have always been kind of tongue-in-cheek and bizarre, but like they really don't care about appealing to anybody, so they just like throw in influences from like weird ass stuff and just don't care, and like the weirdest one though to me, not from like the north, but actually from the weirdest ones are like these crazy, like really like kind of whacked out, politically bizarre French black metal people, like, Diop Secure and notoriously Pest Noir, who like
Notoriously.
are well, notoriously because he is Pest Noir describes himself as a national anarchist.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like what's really weird is
Those
like
those
he
two
essentially
things
has
are
like these weird fascist views mixed with anarchist views,
those
and also his
those
and
things
also
don't
his
work together.
and also his bassist was one of the guys from Alsace, who's an Indian dude, I think. And basically he's like, well, his justification for it is essentially, the way I see a nation, it isn't about the color of your skin, it's about, what like if you're dedicated to the national idea. It's very weird. But like he got put on like a bill with Napalm Death, who are like hardcore, left wing anarchist types, and like Napalm Death like boycotted the fucking festival. Um, but at the same time, he also really likes
D-
pissing off
does
Nazis.
he understand though that that doesn't make any sense? Like,
I think he kind of does, but he likes to annoy people.
but
But like, okay, I'm gonna
like
like
it's
say,
like
but the
being a
thing,
vegetarian and owning a barbecue. It
yeah, like, but okay, like, so Pest Noir, like this dude, he is also really into trap, and he does like this
I'm going to
insane
find
thing.
this person and beat him up. I don't like this man.
He's a really strange man. Like I can't even like dislike Pest Noir because he's like
Here's
he lives in such his own world
here's my
that
theory. Here's my
like
theory. Here's the
I
new
can't
political
even get
compass.
mad at him.
Here's the new political compass, okay?
Uh-huh.
The left and right axes are left and right, as usual. And the
Uh-huh.
top to bottom is sincerely held belief at the top and shitpost at the bottom. This man is in the dead center at the very bottom.
I actually think, like, the thing is, he sincerely, like, going by his music, he sincerely likes rap music. Like, he's really into it, and he sincerely likes black metal. So he combines the two, but he does, like, really experimental, bizarre black metal to begin with. So it's like, all of a sudden, inexplicably, and it just kind of, like, he'll do, like, apparently one of his songs bases its entire rhythm at the beginning off of trap gunshot noises. Because why the fuck not?
I hate this person.
Like, he's, like, Millie has described him as, like, the most guilty of all guilty pleasures.
No. No,
Because he's, like,
That's Britney
he is
Spears'
such an
toxic,
asshole,
though.
but his music is interesting and unintentionally, like, it's like outsider art.
no,
It's really
no.
fucking weird
I
stuff.
I don't believe that he actually believes these things. I think he's having a goof.
No, like, there are... No, the thing is that, like,
Windy
national
Point.
anarchism
Oh, we're in
is a thing.
Arizona.
It is
It's a
batshit
it's a
crazy,
thing that
but
don't
it
make
is a
no
real thing.
sense.
I know it makes no sense, but the fact is that these people are not, like, normal people who believe these things.
I'll say.
These are fucking wackadoodles who live in rural France and shit.
God.
Well, okay, not rural France. I think he lives in a city.
I'm gonna eat this person.
I'm
don't.
sorry for informing you of the existence of Pest Noir.
I'm going to Kirby him so I can absorb his powers of self-delusion. Because I want that kind of confidence in my life.
He is, like, the most ludicrously self-confident human being. Like, you'd have to be to make fucking progressive hip-hop influenced avant-garde black metal.
I'm gonna avant-garde him into next week.
Diopsecure are kind of like that, but their ideology is
Oh, there's
more
another
that,
one.
But, like, they've done a split with Pest Noir, because of course they have. That they, their ideology is that actually all, you know, like, it is even more ridiculous, and, is, like, they believe that, like, all the sort of horrible things going on in the world are a sign that Satan is going to return, and they wish to usher him in. Because of course they think that. It's like
My
they're, like,
favorite
evangelical
musician.
Satanists.
My favorite musician is a rapper who lives in Oregon. He's not, like, as far as I know, he's not, like, crazy. He doesn't have any bizarre, self-conflicting political beliefs.
Uh-huh.
He makes very good music, though.
Who is?
Aesop Rock.
Aesop Rock is good. I like Aesop Rock. He seems like a solid dude who makes good music.
Yes.
So I'm going to approve of that. I don't know who I would call my favorite musician. Like, the closest... closest living musician to that title might be Jude Geit, who is a black metal musician and does make weird music, but he's, like, very sincere and not, like, a fascist.
Well, that's good. That's
I mean,
a start.
actually, he's quite the opposite.
That's a pretty low bar.
No, like, he's the opposite. He famously did a track called Your Blood and Soil Are Piss and Shit.
Incredible.
Which, like, he is, like, very explicit about, like, you know, Nazi black metal people are deluded
I
assholes who
think
deserve to be taken down a peg.
I think that all of these people might be nerds.
Oh yeah, but Jutgite is he's a former composition student who got super into
Composition
oh
as in like writing composition?
music.
Oh,
Like
okay.
as in he could be a serious classical composer. And he was also super into black metal but also like electronic music. He also listens to hip hop, although that's a subtler influence. And it's like he's like into like all kinds of stuff. Really smart dude. Uh like very into like pessimist philosophy and things. And like
I'm gonna
basically
eat all of these people.
but he also he
Yes, indeed, when Nazi punks fuck off.
but yeah,
That's a song
like one
title.
of but yeah, like one of his early albums was basically about how like romanticism essentially inevitably leads to like death fetish bullshit, and that a lot of people need to just like
Sredni.
get over the whole there
Sredni.
was a golden age that's lost thing.
Sredni.
And one of the tracks is explicitly about like not super explicitly, but the title definitely is
Sredni.
about like Nazi black metal people.
I'm going to eat this man too.
Why? He's
I'm
actually one of
going
the
to eat
decent ones.
him.
Why? He's like a decent guy.
Going to eat him because he's a
Oh,
nerd and I need to absorb his nerd powers.
okay, that's fair. That is fair. Like, if you're, like, eating Pest Noir, I can understand in the sense that he is an asshole. But, like, with Jute Guy Guy, Adam Kalmbach,
I'm
he's
going
honestly one of my favorite people.
I am going to become
Music-wise.
a Voltron of consumed black metal musicians.
Oh my god. Don't eat Varg Vikernes.
Oh,
No, I'm going
no.
to eat Varg Vikernes just to remove him.
Just to remove him from the earth.
Yes.
Gain his mastery of using papyrus.
Do
Because
you
that's his
mean
favorite fucking font. It is the most
okay?
bizarre
I
thing.
I felt the need to ask if you meant the font or the actual material.
No, his mastery of the font papyrus. He wrote an entire RPG system, and it's all in papyrus. He's like, you know, if it weren't for the fact that he's like literally a murderer Nazi, he would be
Julian,
the
you are
dorkiest
killing
man.
me.
He'd be the dorkiest man on earth.
You are killing me softly with other people's songs.
He apparently he likes eating soggy cornflakes. He's talked about this.
That's a kind of evil that is just. Of course, at the point where you're like, oh, yeah, Jews control the world, why not fucking eat soggy cornflakes too? You've already thrown out all the good things in your life. Just make yourself fucking miserable.
But it's like
Now I'm not gonna eat him, because I don't want soggy cornflakes in my stomach. That sounds disgusting.
but yeah, but what I was kind of explaining with Jute Guy is he's super into weird microtonal stuff, and but he manages to still do these super weird classical things applied to metal. But then out of all this crazy chaos with changing tempos and weird serial composition shit, all of a sudden he'll bring out the most epic fucking riff ever, and it fits perfectly. And it's just a barrage of amazing ideas.
Sredni, do
The
you
guy
know what I'm
is
going to say?
a fountain of creativity.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
What?
I'm going to eat that man. Gonna eat him. I will gain riffs as a breath weapon.
That would actually be somebody needs to do a music themed fighting game
Well,
where you have riffs as a weapon,
what the
like
fuck? We
breath
were
as a
in,
breath
like,
weapon. Cornwall.
Cornwall. No, I didn't enjoy this location. Oh, good. Now we're in the middle of the fucking desert. There's a storm rolling in. These power lines
This,
look drawn on.
yeah, this is weird. I mean, I think we're in like the Mojave.
Is Trey still here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just checking.
like Trey's mostly been laughing at you saying you'll eat people.
Right, yes, okay.
Um, but like my other favorite musicians are like Saint Vincent. Yeah.
Scandinavian metal isn't exactly something that I'm authoritative source on. So, like, you know,
Scandinavian metal boxes.
And he actually, funnily enough, Adam Kalmbach is not Scandinavian. He's from like some weird, like, I think he's from like he's from Missouri, in like the middle of nowhere.
I don't know
And he's like,
why, but I thought you were gonna say he was from Gibraltar.
no, I mean, there are rock bands from Gibraltar,
How
apparently.
could you ever falter when you're the Rock of Gibraltar?
When you're rocking on Gibraltar.
I'm
I
not
would
a
rock on Gibraltar.
businessman. I'm a businessman. Let me handle my business.
Did you know they
Bam.
actually have their own, like, sort of, like, language based on Spanish that is
I
spoken
did
in
know that.
Gibraltar?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's basically its own country that is very small and just happens to be part of England. Kind of interesting to me.
You know what else is very interesting?
What?
This sign. Open
That little
local
sign.
eggs. Open local
Open.
eggs. Baked oven bread jackets.
That sounds like a really bizarre, like, open local eggs and
Brick oven bread
brick oven
jackets.
bread jackets both sound like tracks by like Truman's Water or Carolina or one of those bands. Like one of those bands that existed after the Residents were around.
I'm a resident of outer space.
You know the Residents, right?
Yes. The eyeball guys.
Yeah, like Carolina are like.
Well, no, doesn't one of them have a skull face now instead?
Well,
Because he
yeah,
lost his
because
mask or something?
one of them was because one of the eyeball masks was stolen, it was returned, and they declared it ritually unclean.
Yeah.
Because they're the Residents and
Yep.
they do that.
That's how they roll.
Also, they've been reissuing like all of their albums with extensive liner notes and stuff
That's
from like the very beginning of their career, and apparently all the reissues are like super high quality with great sound.
that seems like something they would do.
Yeah,
And then if
and
you
they
like,
made like
if you like,
2 video games.
you play the record like 666 times and it just fucking explodes for art reasons.
Well, maybe not explodes. I think it literally would summon them to perform a concert in your house.
And then they would explode. They would explode.
And then your house would explode and they would disappear.
Yes.
nice.
We've worked it out.
I mean, because, like, you wouldn't want to destroy the Resident. Like,
Life's
they
greatest
are a
mystery.
national treasure. But, like, Carolina are kind of like the Residents, but with more bluegrass. And, like, doom metal.
Johnny was a race car driver.
Okay, that's Primus, that's different. Although he is
Jerry was a race car
Les-
driver. He drove so goddamn fast.
Les
Never did win
Claypool,
no checker.
Les Claypool is a huge Residents fan, it is worth noting. Also, big Henry Cow fan. The man has
If
impeccable
I
music
started
taste.
making heavy metal music, Would I be lesbian, Claypool?
But you have admitted like that at least a few boys are sexy, so you'd be bisexual, Claypool.
That's not as funny though. Also,
I mean,
like I
it
am,
isn't, but it breaks the joke, so it becomes like funnier by meta reason.
I am bisexual, but it's funnier to call myself a raging lesbian because
I mean, it is.
it's just like
Yeah,
a good combination of words.
It's sort of like me being like, and I am gay as shit. I have a girlfriend, but I'm still gay as shit.
We're all gay here.
Yeah, like Trey being our token ace protagonist.
He's ace and also ace. Because ace can also
Yes,
mean very
he's
good. You see,
very
like,
you are indeed ace
I made a
in
funny.
that sense as well. Yes, Trey is good people. We love you, Trey.
Aw. My thing got briefly messed up because I pressed the wrong button on my headphones.
Oh no!
As I was doing my Primus bit, but I did manage to hear the token ace protagonist thing.
Yeah.
You are like the actual protagonist. We are like, well, I mean, Jane runs the stream, but it's like, okay, no, you're the hero. Jane is the protagonist, and I'm the deuteragonist / token evil teammate.
Question.
Gosh.
Why does this say orientation pull out ahead?
That sounds,
Oh no.
That sounds sexual.
It does, but it's on a fucking sign in the middle of the desert. What could that possibly mean?
Somebody
Orientation pullout?
Oh no, I figured it out. It's because it's like, maybe it's, well, no, that's orienteering. But if it were an orienteering like pullout, it would be like, you know, like people go out into this area to do orienteering stuff, and so it's like a crossing area for like scouts or something.
Yeah.
And that would make marginally more sense. But orientation pullout, oh no, it's so that like cars can like get the right way around on the road.
Oh, a turnaround.
Yeah, exactly. Like orientation pull out ahead, so like you don't like run into a car that's trying to right itself.
I mean, over here we just call those turnarounds.
Because like a little further back, like I saw like
there was
this
like a
little
dip, yeah,
side road that was just for that sort of thing, and I was like, oh, but it's like not called a turnaround because it's not like all the way around. It's like just a little stretch of road.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, that's my theory.
Also,
because it's like it looks like a federal national park, or not, maybe a state park, going by that signage.
Oh, that's probably why I can't figure out where the hell we are. There's probably no signs in here because it's a state park.
It looks like it's somewhere in the Mojave.
I'll say we're in, what do you think, Nevada?
A southerly,
Arizona?
like Nevada, Arizona.
Well, let's say we're in here. We'll say we're in Grand Canyon Parish. Hey, we weren't in that national park. We were nearby.
Oh yeah, like I probably
Capitol Reef National.
Like right on the edge of that. Yeah, like I probably should have recognized. Not you gave it 1 star.
It's because it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. There was no signs.
All of Utah is the middle of fucking nowhere.
We made an educated guess.
Barely is there.
More like Salt Lake City.
Is like fake. So is what is it called? God, what's the name of the one that's named after? Fuck. It's the other city in Utah, and like, there's barely Provo. That's not even a fucking city.
Did you know that in Pennsylvania there's 2 towns near each other called Effort and Results?
Yes, I did, but I'd forgotten. I remembered Effort, though. Also, I just love it that there is a tiny little town near Penn State called Waddle.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, like I always see the turnoff for it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this is adorable.
Intercourse is
And
like the one that everybody knows, the Intercourse City, but
I mean, yeah, intercourse because like the road ran through there, it connected to the other
yeah,
road, so it was an
it's like,
intercourse.
yeah. And
And
now they make a lot of money by selling t-shirts that say "I heart intercourse," because our state
I
has
what
literally no dignity left.
I whoa, I love intercourse. Okay, um, that's I don't think that's like no dignity. I think it's just a recognition that if your dignity is going to be defamed, you might well be the one laughing.
I can't imagine that the Amish people that live there enjoy their town being known for having a slightly dirty name.
I'm talking about like maybe the non-Amish residents, although I'm sure there are a few Amish there who secretly have a sneaky regard for the humor in that statement.
I guess.
Like
Although
they
my understanding is that most of them live in the one town nearby that I forget the name of now. I haven't been there in a long time.
you sometimes see Amish up near State College, like on their horse-drawn wagons.
Yeah, if they're like delivering something. What
Oh
the
yeah,
fuck
and
is this?
it's a kid with his arms wrapped around his dad.
His dad is a
Husk
floating
Bill.
head.
No, like go back so I can see. No, forward. I mean, a
Husk
little
Bilbelta.
Bilbilta. That looks like Swedish.
Hug your child.
Hug your
Husk
child.
probably does mean hug
It
or something. It seems like a cognate.
It's a husk because he's a husk of a man. He's just a head now.
Oh dear lord.
How
Um,
long are this kid's arm? That's a very good question.
I mean they're more like flopped over the
What
arm.
is this?
Oh
Just a
yeah,
picture of a fucking chair.
we're definitely in Sweden because I recognize those two really silly letters that they have. Look at it again. The the one with the O with the slash through it, and the pa, with the A with the O over it. It comes from Old Norse, like when there would be a long A. Ah.
Ah.
So we're in Sweden.
Tahuahi ha ho ho ho.
Ha hoo ah he ah oh oh oh.
Shark bait ooh ha ha.
Ting tang walla walla bang bang.
No, Finding Nemo.
Oh. Shark bait. I thought you said dark bait. I was confused.
Dark bait.
Dark
Kinky.
bait.
Dark
But
bait. I'm
yeah,
done.
like
I'm
but
fucking
yeah,
done. It's when you don't go to the regular porn sites, you go to the kinky ones. That's a dark bait.
I was thinking more along the lines of it is baiting the darkness, but you somehow managed to make that dirtier than I would, so I'm gonna give you Sredni points for that.
It was in Norway!
Oh, I always confuse which ones use which weird lettering system.
Ah, 1 star. Alright.
We got a decent amount of points though,
We
so.
did. I think that's about all for today.
Oh, I wanted to do one more.
It's
Wow, wait a
1
minute.
a.m.
I don't care. Well, actually, fuck it. I actually have to be. This is the stupidest. I am officially a straight man now because I've been invited to a Super Bowl party.
Oh God. Rest in peace.
I mean, it's like
can
not
you
like a real Super
can
Bowl
you
party. It's just my friends hanging out.
can
We're
you
probably
bring
just gonna
me
go.
a slice of pizza back from the Super Bowl party?
I mean, I would send it to you, but mail and food normally don't like combine well. Basically, I'm just gonna hang out with my friends, talk about random stuff, and we'll probably get like crossfaded and eat food and like
Nice.
half watch the Super Bowl. I think Jeff actually cares about the Super Bowl, but I doubt that Randy or Joseph do.
Randy, Joseph, and Jeff. Those three
Yeah.
boys doing the stuff.
Well, I mean, well, Joseph, genderqueer, so sort of
Those
boy,
three people doing the stuff.
sort of lady. So yeah, yeah,
Those three. Those
three
three.
amigos, or
Which one's Takeoff?
not amigos, amigos. Okay, which one has the best flows?
Takeoff.
Okay, so that's probably Randy. Which one has the most personality?
Takeoff.
Play-Doh.
I like Takeoff.
Okay, that's like, okay, who is like the most like, who is the one who's like, I'm trying to fit like, because like, Jeff is the guy who seems normal but is actually kind of weird. Joseph is just blatantly weird and, has a sense of humor about it. And like, Randy is like, just low-key weird.
I like that we're bringing back the thing of posting 3 random emojis and saying that they're the Migos.
I mean, like,
We've got Sonic the Hedgehog, Silver the Hedgehog, and Putt Putt. And then we've got one that's my witchy emoji, the robot emote, and a creeper from Minecraft.
okay, damn, that would be a hard combo. Witchy is probably Joseph. What are the other two?
A robot and a creeper from Minecraft.
Robot is probably Jeff. Creeper is probably Randy.
King Randy.
Yeah, like,
Randy.
Randy can probably, like, second to Jeff, like, pass for normal the most. But is also, like, one of the strangest, most introspective people I've ever met.
What
He
about if
also
he
is,
was
like, a super talented viola player
Huh.
who, like, makes fences for a living.
That's a strange combination of things.
I mean, at least he did for what? Like, he did landscaping because it's like, it's zen for him, and it's good money.
That's like my mom's friend, this guy named Christian. He works at a ski resort and also he races cars.
Randy released an EP recently. He goes by the name Sleepy Randy, actually.
Who was the person who released an EP recently that we know? Well, I like vaguely know. The title was just like a bunch of random garbage characters.
Oh, yeah, Nobody. Yeah, like, that was, the other friend who was recently released, he does, like, weird, harsh noise stuff, and is actually really good at it. Like, it's not, like, low-effort stuff. The guy, he's, like, 18, and he's somehow, like, managed, like, pretty high-tier, like, sound design shit. The guy is... He's a nice guy, too. Like, kind of like... He's young, but he's a good guy. And,
Yeah.
he makes, like, batshit crazy noises.
I'm gonna play us out today.
Alright.
This is probably going to get the VOD copyright ID'd, but I don't care. I'm too tired to care.
I mean, depends on how... No. What you gotta do, I want you to play us out by playing... No, I have a horrible idea. Go to YouTube.
No, I have a song already. It's okay. It's all good.
You do?
Yes. Open
But
my
if you get
anime
copyright ID, then we
collection.
won't be able to, like, post this on YouTube, and it'll be like, oh, fuck.
I don't care. It'll be fine.
But I want it to be on YouTube.
It'll be fine.
Oh no, you're gonna do the animes.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
I haven't heard this song. Well, actually, I can't.
You're not going to be able to hear it this way either. It's too loud, probably.
I mean, it's probably not a long enough amount.
I'm just gonna, like, fade it out.
Alright.
There we go. And that's the end.
Yeah, this was a good stream, I think, even if it got off to a slightly, like, weird start because well, I have no idea about the section with you and Trey earlier, but,
I
like,
I level grinded in Tartarus for like half an hour and then accidentally lost all my progress because I loaded a save state by accident.
oh, I assume that you know that, that is the lowest level of hell in Greek mythology, right?
No, but it's also the name of
Tartarus?
the name of the tower in Persona 3.
Yeah, it's like Tartarus was the level below Erebus in Hades.
All right. And with that fact, we bid you good night.
Good
Shapes
night.
and Forms is
Good night.
every Friday from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Sometimes longer if we're feeling adventurous.
Trey, what you gonna say?
And
Let's see. I think
uh,
today's stream was pretty good. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
we had a good turnout. You know.
And yes, we did. That was really nice. And if you are a new viewer, you can feel free to follow the channel. If you'd like to support the channel, you can subscribe either with your own money or with Twitch Prime. Yeah. That's about it. See you guys next week.
see you.
Bye.